What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Hopefully my audio is what it's supposed to be. That I got my levels right and that we back in the building. Yeah, great show last night. Shout out to my Room 9 Patriots in the building. I see y'all. What up? What's happening? Where's she at? Where's she at? What up, family? What up, y'all? How y'all feeling today? Let me acknowledge the early Cash App and Super Chatters. I know I got to get my guy, Coach Chris, in the building so that I can get right into the show. You feeling amazing, K Cooper? I have such massive goals, man. I ain't even gonna cap, bro. I eat, sleep content right now. I don't even care about nothing except for that, man. Honestly. My goal at this point is this time next year to be the most relevant, most important. Let me revise it. Not just by next year. My goal by next election, right? When I talk about the election, I'm talking about coming up in 2028. I don't want anybody to feel like they cannot have a conversation with me in order to be able to get the endorsement of the people to get elected. I want to have so much influence and so much of an impact and such a huge voice in the culture. And the only way I can do that is to get to 200 million views minimally a month. I want to be the number one. My goal is to be the number one independent content creator in the world. That's what I'm shooting for. As crazy as that may sound. What up, Tiffany Simpson? What up, Tiff? What up, everybody in the chat? I see y'all. My goal, and I don't care what it takes to get there, I will sleep in this motherfucker. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. This is the Millionaire Morning Show on a Wednesday. I'm sorry. I don't care about nothing more right now. Now that my daughter is graduated and my daughter is going to college and all of that, I don't care about anything outside of being the number one impactful person in the world. I want to have more influence and more say-so of what goes on in the world than any other content creator, especially when it comes to independence. I want to show people what independence really looks like, that you don't have to be owned by nobody, that the only person that you got to submit to is God, and that you can have 100% control over everything that goes on. I don't even want there to be a question on who's number one. And I ain't even just talking about the black sector. I'm talking about number one in general. The number one independent content creator in the world is what I'm shooting for at this point. And I think that it'll take me maybe 2 to 3 years to do it. 2 to 3 years to do it, and I'll never sign. I'm never signing with anybody that controls me. Finding love, fitting name, right? Fitting name, finding love in a Dominican. Shout out to the Bussy Boy Bros overseas. Shout out to the Bussy Boy Bros that gotta go overseas in order to get some kind of motion. Says that's not happening. Stop dreaming. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Let me give a shout out to Spencer Campbell. What up? What up, Spencer Campbell? What up, though, big dog? I appreciate you for holding me down on Cash App. What up to Mike That Dude? Shout out to Mike That Dude. I appreciate you, Mike That Dude. What's happening? Coach Chris says, do you have anyone or thing that you listen to daily? Yep, I listen to a couple different things. The first thing that I listen to is, well, actually, I listen to a few different things. The first thing that I listen to is myself. As crazy as that sound. Mika told y'all that. Mika told you that. Only thing that Anton, anytime that she would see me or listen to me or see what it is that I got going on, I'll watch myself. On this TV, you see how I got myself up on that TV? That's exactly what I be having up there when I'm by myself. When I'm in the car, if it ain't Drake, I listen to myself. When I go to the crib, any house that I'm at, usually I have myself up because I'm studying what I did wrong and what I did right, and I'm making adjustments and improvements, consciously and subconsciously. The second thing that I listen to is I study the competition. I study people that are ahead of me. I don't listen to anything that I enjoy, right? I'm not listening to, the only thing that I'll listen to that I enjoy separately is like sports, NBA basketball. I'll listen to NBA basketball and all of that, but I don't listen to like stuff from an entertainment perspective. I listen to, it's three things, right? It's three categories that I frame it in. I study myself and I look at what I did wrong and what I did right and what changes that I need to make. Because I look at myself from a fan's perspective. So I'm looking at it as saying, man, you can do this improvement. You can do this improvement. The second thing that I'm looking at is I'm looking at people that are ahead of me to study how they're doing better than me because I want to do what they do better than them. And then the third thing that I listen to is anything business related, right? So culture related, business related, something that'll give me some insight on having some better investment opportunities and something that I can bring back to the bag chasers. So I'm looking for hints. I'm looking for clues. I'm studying the market. I'm trying to better understand where the investments are coming from. That's why y'all got to go and watch that last live stream because it was so informative and I broke it down from a C student's perspective. The last live stream was crazy. Y'all got to go and look at that last live stream on the Patreon. There's so much information. There's so much opportunity for y'all to run it up. You know what I'm saying? So those are the three things that I listen to. I study myself. I study the competition that is ahead of me specifically. I don't look at anybody that's behind me as competition. I'm looking forward. And so I'm chasing the people that's ahead of me. Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Ryan Shaw, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. I look at a lot of, I'm not going to name them, but I look at some liberals because I'm not looking at liberals for, I look at them for a couple different reasons. I look at it because I want to understand it from their lens so I can speak on it from both perspectives. And then I'm also looking at the ones that are doing incredibly well because I want to know how they did it. I want to see what they're doing better than me so that I can make adjustments. So that's what I listen to. Coach also says, at what age do you think that you're the most profitable? Whatever age that you're the most productive. That's it. It's whatever age you're most productive. I don't think that there's any specific age that you're most profitable. Different people are more profitable at different times. If you look at an NBA player, a time at most NBA players are the most profitable is when they're the most spry, right? In their late 20s, early 30s, that's when they get their biggest contracts. And then they got to try to figure out how to live off of that for the rest of their life. Very rarely do you see people have a second and third act that they're better than they was before. And so right now, for me, over the last 15 years, I've been more profitable every single year than I was the year before. So right now, I'm at 44, I'm more profitable than I was at 43. And at 45, I'll probably be more profitable than 44. So it just depends on what industry you're in. It depends on what your value add is. It just depends on how good you are at what you do. What does God hold you most accountable for? I don't know. Whether or not I'm abiding by the word or whether I think that God holds people most accountable of whether or not they actually meet the expectation based off of the talent that they give them. You understand what I'm saying? So I like to read the story of the talents over and over again and how he gave certain talents to certain people and then he took the talents away from the person that was the least productive with their skill set that he gave them, and he gave that talent over to the person that was the most productive. And a lot of people that read that story, they say, well, that's unfair. Well, are you playing the cards that's given to you? Are you playing it? Are you leading with the best possible, or are you just there? You know what I'm saying? Coach also says, do you eventually want the Bag Chasers to be a worldwide movement, or is it something that you do for your loyal supporters to help them? The Bag Chasers is already a movement. We already a movement. We already doing what we do. I don't want to be a worldwide movement. I want to be a movement within ourselves. I only want to rock out with people that really want to rock. The Bag Chasers is a special group of people. You got your when you look at the military, when you look at, there's special forces, Delta forces, there's special ops. You got military, and you got to give respect to the military. You always want to give love to the supporters of the channel. You have the Air Force, you got the Army, you got the Navy, but then you got people that's really behind the scenes that's doing the biggest things. And so that's what I look at it as. I look at it as a special group of people that's looking for information because they designated to do special things. V Nicole says Stock Club was, shout out to V Nicole for supporting the platform because the nurses love AD. Said I still need that coaching call though. You're the best. Stock Club was amazing. I will say so myself. If you're not a bag chaser, you're not a Patreon member, I actually got a video coming out today. It's already scheduled. So I got a video coming out this afternoon/evening, and I think it's going to be a good one for y'all. So that should be awesome. Thank you, V, and thank you for loving on me. My dog, Chris Park, says, can you do a breakdown on systems and goals? For example, I want to make $25,000 a month selling $1,000 websites. I don't think that you should be selling websites if you're trying to make $25,000 a month. I know that's 25 clients a month, but getting to that is the challenge. How do you break things down in the systems? All right, that's a Patreon video. Give me a second. Let me write that down because I'll do a Patreon video on that. Because in order for me to best explain that, I'll have to explain to you guys. I have to show you my systems of how I put things in place. To kind of give you a preview, I break everything down mathematically before I start to get into it. Okay, so it's really a 3-step process, and I really don't even want to talk about this publicly. I would prefer to get this to the bag chasers. And this is separate from selling a website. I think you're in the wrong business. But how do I break this down without giving too much information? I'll give you the first 2 steps in a general sense, and then I'll deep dive into it in the Patreon a lot more. The first thing I do is proof of concept, right? The proof of concept shows that it works. So you got to tool around, you got to figure it out. And once you get a hit, you got to try to figure out how to be more, if it was a fluke or if it's something that you are good at, or if it's something that you can actually scale up, right? The proof of, because you can try to do a reason why I said the websites is not good, and it's a lot of reasons that I'll say that the websites is not good. But the reason that I say that is because your proof of concept is a bad concept. I don't think you should be selling websites, especially with the advent of AI, right? So I think you should be selling services, but not websites. All right, that's number one. Once you proof your concept and you figure out that you got something good on your hands, then that's when you start adding in the math. The math says, how much time does it take for me to be able to do X, right? And when I figure out how much time it takes for me to do X, now I'm then dividing that into what I want to make in a month. So now if you say, well, let's just take your website idea, right? And you say, well, I want to make $30,000 a month selling $1,000 websites, because you're going to start to refine that. And then that means, just in a general sense, that you need to sell a website every single day on average, because it's around 30 days in a month and you want to make $30,000 a month. That means you need to sell 1,000 a day, right? And that's assuming that you already got your proof of concept of how you know how to scale it, how you know how to sell it, getting your clientele and all of that stuff, right? And I'm not going to deep dive too heavy into this. But now, once you figure that out and you say, well, instead of chasing $1,000 websites, and I need to sell one every day, because that means that if I want to make $30,000, I need to be selling at least $1,000 on websites a day. Well, now I need to be looking at it differently, because maybe I can sell 6 websites a month for $5,000 a piece, right? Because the math tells you that if I want to make $30,000, maybe I need to be selling 3 websites for $10,000 a piece, or 6 websites for $5,000 a piece, in order to hit that $30,000 mark. Because then you're going to start to scale out a little bit differently, because then you're going to start to think to yourself, well, wait a minute. If I could sell 3 websites for $10,000 a piece, and that's basically one every 10 days, then maybe I can sell 6 websites for $10,000 a piece with the same effort, if I'm able to scale what my proof of concept is, and I really can make 60,000 instead of making 30,000. You know what I'm saying? So everything is A, proof of concept, B, mathematics, and then C, implementation. And I'll go into that inside of the Patreon. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Great question. Chris Parks, because then that'll tell you who you need to hire, right? How do I need to? Y'all getting me going. I don't want to get into it. Stop trying to get me to talk like I talk inside of the Patreon. Chris Park says, so in your case, getting to 1 million subscribers, how did you break that down brick by brick? I didn't. Once I get into my groove, I don't look at the numbers. Once I got a proof of concept, once I understand exactly what I need to do from a mathematic perspective as far as production, I'm more focused on building out a team at this point, right? So I'll give you an example when it comes to real estate. When I first started my proof of concept, and the Patreon members know this, when I first started, my goal was to figure out what it took in order to build a house. And so the first house I built in 2022, 2023, which is much different than acquiring something turnkey, and its benefits, pros, and cons that come along with that, and I'll explain to you in the Patreon. My goal was to then figure out, okay, well, wait a minute. If I could build 1, what does it take to build 2? Once I built 2, I'm trying to figure out how I can build 4 in a year. So now my proof of concept is, okay, well, if I can build 1 every 6 months, or build 2 every 6 months at the same time, then that means that I can build 4. So now I'm trying to figure out how to scale that, right? And in order for me to scale that, now I got to start putting together a team. That means that I can't do that myself, right? I can't put that together myself. Same thing when it comes to content creation. Oh, I need people to help me. I need, somebody to help me with the thumbnails. I need somebody to help me with the editing. I need somebody to help me with clips. I got to figure out how to get more visibility without, then that's when I start to say, well, listen, if y'all want to clip me up on TikTok, then I'm cool with that. Go ahead, because it promotes me more. You start thinking about marketing. You start thinking about all of these different things, because now you got to put your big boy hat on. You got to put your CEO hat on, your businessman hat on, because it's not just about being a creator anymore. It's about being a businessman, right? So I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get too deep into that, because Chris is trying to get me to talk about Patreon stuff. And this is, again, why y'all need to tap into the Patreon, because all of these things are applicable regardless of what type of business that you're in. It's not just applicable to content creation. It's not just applicable to real estate. It's applicable in everything, right? It's applicable in corporate America if you know how to implement it correctly. But talk about it. Talk about it on the live streams. That's why I don't mind paying my people really well, because my goal is not to try to figure out how I can cheap out on the people that surround me. My goal is to try to figure out how to offload more onto them and pay them really well to where they're happy with what they're doing, but at the same time, I'm happy with the results. I don't like a lot of turnover. I like to just pay people really well and then try to figure out how to make more money, try to figure out how they can add more value so I can generate more revenue. How do you free me up to go and find the money? Right? I just recently hired somebody as a part of my team because I don't want to sign no deals with nobody. So I got a couple different women that I just recently hired as a part of my team. And I hired them from corporate America so that they can go out there and have these conversations when it comes to sponsorships, right? Pitch decks, all of these different things. And so everything is going to be internal. Everything is within. I'm building my team slowly but surely, but I'm also paying them really well. And I'm leveraging them in order to continue to generate more revenue. And so I pay them really well so that I don't have a whole lot of turnover. I don't have time to keep training people. I don't have time to keep on bringing people in here. And so my goal is to figure out, how do I make more money and then put more people in position to generate more revenue. Somebody says, if you need somebody to overlook the roofing crew need to overlook themselves. I don't have time to babysit. Rita, and I got another guy that works for me that actually oversees all of the contractors. That's their job. You know what my job is? To write the checks. So once a week, I go around and I look at all of the projects and I look at what we working on. Okay, what's going on in here? I do a walkthrough. Once or twice a week, I'll do a walkthrough on every single project. I walk through and I have them explain to me what's going on, what's the timeline, what can we expect for this to be done. And that's their job. Their job is to keep me up to date on what's going on. And then all they do is they do their job and then they send me the bills. They do their job and then they send me the bills. And then you know what I do? I write the checks and I figure out how to scale. I just literally wrote a $24,000 check the other day. I'll show it to you. As soon as I got back from the weekend. What is this? June 1st? For Anton Daniels for the roofing. Actually, it was roofing, siding, and a bunch of other stuff. So 24th, June 1st. You see the transaction detail at the bottom? Their job is to figure out how to get stuff done. My job is to write the checks. They go through, they figure all of that junk out, and then they say, okay, we got this bill in order for me to be able to rock out with you. And I say, all right, cool. I write the check, pay the contractor. Let's continue the project. Let's get this junk popping. I go through, walk through the project, and get to it. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I need a case, big dog. You killing me with your phone? Oh, I don't do cases. Both of my phones is beat the hell up. That's because I work. See my phones? They beat up. I don't do cases. None of that. Anton, I'd love to see you make content about accomplishments happening in the Black community. For what? Y'all don't watch that shit. I don't use loans at all. No loans for Anton. Everything is out of pocket. I own 100% of everything. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. I give y'all information and say I can't even get some of y'all to do what's best for your own interests as far as making sure that you watch the videos in the Patreon. I got to tell you, hey, did you watch the Patreon video? You know you're a member. You should watch the Patreon video. I gave you $1 million worth of information. Y'all want me to talk about accomplishments in the Black community. Get out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't even watch stuff that's best for themselves. I gotta beg you to watch something that's beneficial for your own family. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's get to it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me read one more. Can we get a Patreon video on getting contractors? Yeah, sure. I'll do a video on getting contractors. That's a good subject. Let me write that down. Let's go over to California first. I think we should go to California first because everybody is talking about the Los Angeles mayor's race. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. We're going to get into people living in sewers in New York, like Ninja Turtles. California election results. We're going to get into Steph Curry's shoe deal with Li Ning. People firing people on 60 Minutes for talking about the executives. Actually, you know what? Let me start here. I'm not going to start there. I want to start here. I think that this is a good way to start off. And I want to let y'all know that next week I got 2 new shows coming to, actually, I'm launching 1 new show. I got 2 new shows coming to After Hours Room 9, all right? One of them is a solo show with me. And I can't tell you about the other one. So I got a couple different shows coming to Room 9. I think that y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna absolutely love it. But let's talk about this really quickly before we get started with the show. Somebody sent me this video as a reaction video, and I thought it would be interesting to explore it.
So I am super nervous to make and post this video, and I've struggled a lot with whether I should share this information, and I ultimately decided that because I think that most all social media is fake and paints a very inaccurate picture of many people's lives and situations. I don't want to be that for my followers, for my viewers. I share a lot about, obviously, my legal work and my law firm. I share a little bit about my personal life. For the most part, it's all positive and flowers and roses. But again, I've decided that I want to be real with you guys. I want to encourage you guys that if you are going through things, if you're a business owner, there's going to be bumps in the road. So I have decided to share a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. So I am 40 years old. I own my own law firm. Most of you probably already know that. And I am going through a divorce. Actually, let me be real and honest with you guys. I am going through my second divorce. I think it is really hard to try to create a life where you have it all. And I've clearly tried and failed twice to do that. So while I'm not going to go into details as far as the cause of the divorce or whose fault it is, obviously it's both of our faults. But I will just say that I think it's really hard to own and grow a super successful business and also have balance and happiness and peace in all of the other areas of your life.
Let's stop there. Let's start there. Let's stop there. All right. Just in summary, a woman says that she's going through a divorce, her second divorce, 40 years old, right? 40 years old, second divorce. She owns her own law firm. Clearly, she's successful. And the summary that she comes to, the narrative basically, and the summary that she has is, it is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult in order for you to have a successful career while at the same time maintaining work-life balance and then trying to have a relationship. I need a till I can get this together. I need a is very, very difficult. This is coming from a woman, a successful woman. She says she's going through her second divorce. 2, some of y'all can't even get married one time. She going through a second divorce. Owns her own law firm and says it's very difficult to be able to maintain work-life balance and a relationship while building a business. We're going to get to the rest of the video. Don't worry about it. We're going to talk about it. But let's stop there for a second. This is what men have been saying for the longest. This is what Anton has been saying for the longest. Yeah, Nelly. This is what we have been trying. This is what Kevin Samuels has been saying for the longest with regard to how men think. Do you know what the most difficult thing that there is? One of the most difficult things that there is as a man, as an incredibly successful man. Because I see the guys in the chat and some of y'all are upset a little bit and y'all getting mad at her and saying, oh man, forget that chick or whatever. You know what y'all sound like? Y'all sound just like the women. Y'all sound like the guys have become the girls and the girls have become the guys. Y'all sound like the women that are at home saying, you ain't got no time for me. Why you spending so much time at work? I can't believe you. Are you cheating on me because you spent all day at the office? When I see guys feeling some type of way about this reminds me of the girls that feel some type of way about the guys that spend all of their time trying to build, get that money, and take care of business. It's crazy how everything has changed. It's crazy how everything has changed, right? Real talk. Let's keep it 100. Why you ain't got no? So wait a minute, you ain't got no time for me? All of this other type of stuff. See, Zachary says this is why I like interacting with the chat. Shout out to the chat. Zachary Trevino says the difference is women are supposed to be focused on family. So now that we have a society where women can literally choose to do what they want to do. You can get a job. You can go and start a business. You could be a family woman. You could be a stay-at-home wife. You could be all of this stuff, right? You can do anything you want to do. Now we see women saying it's hard to be able to maintain work-life balance and have a husband at the same time. It's hard. It's difficult, right? Women are now getting to experience the same things that men have been experiencing for a long time. The hardest thing that you will ever do, some of the hard, let me not say the hardest thing. Some people really go through some stuff. They go through cancer, they go through treatments, they deal with a lot of stuff, right? One of the hardest things that you'll do from a social perspective is have to figure out how to balance maintaining a relationship, making everybody else happy around you, and focusing 100% on your craft and meeting the expectation that you have for yourself. Peekaboo. Real talk. Now, me in particular, listening to this woman, I don't have any kind of feelings towards it whatsoever. I'm not, I don't think that it's a bad thing. I don't think that it's a good thing. I think it is what it is. I think it's a life choice. You know, sometimes you can choose to have a more of a relationship. And as a woman, you can say, well, you know what, I kind of just want to chill and I don't want to make a lot of money. I don't want to be as successful. Hopefully the person that I get with is as successful and I could just live the soft life. And then there's other women that are super motivated and they say, you know what, I love what I do and this is what I am and this is what I signed up for. And so I choose to be in a space where I'm not going to focus as much on building a relationship. And I would want to spend more of my time focused on my career, my craft. And in the same way that women will look at men that do that and say, you just got commitment issues, or you need to focus on your family, or, oh man, you know, more focus on this and that, you must hate women or whatever. Now you got guys doing the same thing and they're saying, oh man, y'all voted for this, you did that, or whatever. Oh, women are supposed to be in the kitchen. Who are you? And so nobody is going to be happy with your decision. You have to find solace and happiness in whatever it is that you choosing to do with your life. And if it's meaningful to you. Somebody said, BY says, sorry, used up. Anton, your messaging is confusing. What is confusing about my messaging? What's confusing about what I'm saying? That you have a decision to make of whether you want to make a sacrifice here or there because it's going to be uneven somewhere. Girls that get with men that are super successful don't have a lot of time to spend with that girl. Guys that get with women that are super successful are going to deal with a woman that moves more in her masculine energy, and she not gonna spend her time trying to focus on catering to you. Y'all gonna meet up where y'all meet up. Y'all gonna connect where y'all gonna connect, and then y'all gonna, in order to have that great relationship, you're gonna have to be able to detach from her. What's so confusing about this? People can make a decision on what they want to do with their life. What's confusing about it? Whatever you decide to do, you're going to be making a sacrifice on the other end. I think that in order to be a great mother, you have to be in the household with your child. You can't let the world raise your child. And so it's hard to have a career as a woman, which is one of the reasons why single parents, single mothers, often at times they'll be focused on building a career and all of that. But then they say, oh man, but childcare is too expensive, or that's too expensive. But you see women that are in a household a little bit more, but their children tend to be a lot more well-behaved. It's a sacrifice. Women today are saying, I don't want kids. There's more women than ever before that I see come across my timeline that y'all sending me videos inside of my emails. And they're saying, hey, I don't want to have children. I want to focus on me, and I want to focus on having a good time on the people that's in my life. I think that that's a choice. And I don't have a problem with that choice as long as nobody is getting, because I have a problem with people that choose to have children and they neglect the children. They break up the family. They don't do what's best in the best interest of the children. I don't have a problem with somebody that says, well, I don't want to have children, and so I don't want to be responsible for somebody else. I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with that at all, because you're not hurting anybody. Nobody is suffering as a result of your decisions. We don't have to, as taxpayers, pay for food stamps for you to feed your kids because you decided that you wanted to go and break up your family. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all going to be a balancing act.
I don't think it's impossible. I don't think that you can't choose a few areas to really excel in and give your all, but to give 100% of you to every single area of your life and have it all be super successful and perfect all the time is not possible, at least not for me. So I'm doing fine. My foster girls are doing fine. My daughter is doing fine. We are working through it and we are coping as best we can.
I can look at this woman and profile her and tell you that she is not going to be the woman that's going to be making lunches and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and taking their kids to the park and doing any of that type of stuff. I can profile a woman in the street and tell you what type of mother that she is, if she's a mother, or if she's a woman that is suited to be a mother. I can tell by how a woman dressed, how she carries herself, how she walks down the street, the type of communication that she has. Boy, my profiling skills is on 9,000. I could meet a woman in the street today, and I could tell you everything about her within 5 minutes of what it is that I believe that her life is about.
I will update you guys based
Shout out to the new bag
on what
chasers.
is going to happen with the foster license that we currently have, because we have it as husband and wife. I have just informed the agency. I was super nervous to inform them because I don't want to lose my girls and I don't want to put them through having to be moved from a place that is stable and where they're happy. I don't know if they're going to take them from me. I don't know if they're going to take them from me permanently, temporarily, or not at all. But I will definitely share that information. You certainly can foster as a single parent. And I intend to do that. But again, we will see kind of what the process is. And
Tiffany says you have to pick the right person, but the right person may change. And that has never been more true than ever before. Tiffany Simpson, you are spot on. And that's the thing that we haven't taken into consideration when we talk about these relationships, because I say all the time, the person that you are when you're 20 is going to be different than the person who you are when you're 30. The desires that you have at 40 is going to be different than the desires that you have at 30. I see somebody in the chat, for example, saying something like, yeah, man, she like that 12:30 appointment. It's some people that never grow out of, all I care about is having sex. I can't focus on my money because I want to be a jackrabbit. There's some people that are still stuck in their 20 phase where all that they think about is sex, 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 sex. I want to go out and meet girls so I can have sex, 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 sex. And then there's other people that come through, you know what I'm saying, in their 30 phase and they love sex, but they don't like sex more than they like making money, because having sex in a good place is much better than having sex in a poor place. And then you get to your 40s. There's some people that grow into their 40s and they say, well, I still love sex, but I don't like sex more than I like being comfortable and achieving my purpose. And a woman is extra on top of it. And I don't need to have it 30 times a week. Sometimes I can have it 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes I ain't even tripping about it. I ain't even thinking about you. I could do it 1 time a week and I'm straight. Because you're going to change. You're going to evolve as you get older. You're not supposed to, in most instances, stay the same as you were when you were 20. If you marry somebody when you're 20 and you think that they're going to be the same 20 years later, you a fool. You're going to have to, her perspective on life is going to change when she have a child. She's going to look at life completely. You're going to look at life completely differently when you have a child. Your lives are not going to be about yourself or each other when you decide that you want to have children. A parent may get sick and have to move in with y'all, and that may completely tear up y'all lifestyle because you can't have sex in the kitchen the same way that you was, because you got to make sure that Meemaw over there is taken care of. Stress will affect your sex drive or when y'all decide to have sex. And that's why people have to plan out date nights, because they have to schedule time to make sure that they're involved with each other so they'll have an emotional connection. You don't have to plan out date night when you ain't got no money, but you make a little bit of money, but you make enough money to be able to get with a person and y'all living in a 1-bedroom studio apartment and you don't really care because y'all just like each other. And then you get to the point 10, 15 years later where you're like, well, wait a minute. I like all my cars and you like a whole lot of flowers and entertaining, and I like being by myself. And so maybe we need to be living separately. And then we still love each other and we gonna still do date night and we gonna still rock out with each other and we like traveling together. Maybe she develops a new hobby, right? Maybe she goes from motherly into being, what do y'all do when the kids are, when you empty nesters? And she say, you know what? I do like having a career, or I do want to do this, or I do want to travel, or I do want to do that. How do you adjust for that? See, because our conversations in the relationship sector are so singular to man versus woman, we don't have real deep dives into how you can be successful in a relationship, but you have to evolve. You have to change. What does change look like? What does having new goals look like? He gonna wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to be rich. And in order for me to be rich, I don't think that I can spend as much time as I can with you. And she gonna be feeling some type of way because she's so used to being around you and under you, but you got to go out there and go get it. I don't think it has anything to do with delusion. I think it has everything to do with context. Everything to do with context. It's context. And we don't have any understanding because we so busy trying to be right. We don't want to have understanding because it's more important to be right than it is to be understanding.
The divorce is happening during a placement. So I'm sharing this. I am embarrassed. I am ashamed, but also like this isn't my first rodeo. I was much more embarrassed and ashamed the first time around. At this point, I'm kind of like, you know what? I tried. It didn't work out. Nobody's perfect. Everyone's got issues. Not everyone chooses to share those issues publicly. But again, I think I've kind of explained the importance to me to kind of be real and show you guys that, you know, everything's not always peachy and perfect. I get a lot of questions and inquiries from people wanting to go to law school, people in law school, people starting out their legal career. And I'm always like, ooh, be careful. It's a really demanding career. It takes a lot out of you. And so really think about your priorities and what you want in life. What's the most important to you? One mistake that I made, I believe, is throughout many seasons of my life, I did put my business first. And so you just really need to think about, and I think that kind of applies for any type of business owner. It really does take so much out of you. So anyway, probably won't talk about this topic too much more in the future. Probably not going to answer many questions in the comments about it to the extent they get too personal. But again, it was important to me to share this information and be real and authentic. Bye.
It's funny because one person spoke the sentiment of my heart to answer a question that another person kind of said. Well, not even a question, but a statement that another person said. One person said, man, why is things so complicated? Or I hate that things are so complicated. And another person said, well, life is complicated. It is. It's super complicated. Incredibly complicated. It's incredibly complicated. I don't look at this as a bad thing or a good thing. I look at this as interesting. It's just interesting to me. Yeah, she said she owned her own firm. And she's going through her second divorce. And that is nobody's fault in particular. And people are looking to blame because everybody wants somebody to be accountable for something. But I just think it's life choices. That's it. I think it's life choices. But I do find it interesting that women are starting to have the conversation about why they're getting divorced is because that they are more focused on their life and their career and their jobs and what they went to school for than they are about what's happening inside of the household. I think it's very interesting. Maybe I'll reach out to her. I've had a lot of content creators that I've done reactions to reach out to me and say, I want to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation. I've had a lot of content creators even make videos trying to get my attention, trying to get my attention, saying, hey man, I want to have a conversation. Um, I don't know if you see things the way that I was trying to communicate it and all of this other type of stuff.
So I had an interesting experience tonight. Lazy Sunday night, mindlessly scrolling YouTube. And I discovered that Anton Daniels, who's a very big creator on here and on YouTube, stitched one of my videos 6 months ago. I had no idea. My very first video, no less, when I changed my tone and started down the path that I'm on now, which is really about corporate accountability and labor reform and worker protections and all of that. And if anyone has seen it, I think I still have it pinned, but it's the like nihilistic corporate girly video, which was basically just an introduction to what my content was going to be moving forward. And I talked about what it's like to be a year into unemployment and having played the game really, really well for a really long time, and how that no longer serves you. And it's so hard to get a job. And so what ends up happening is you say, well, if it's going to be this hard when I'm pretending to be someone else, why not just be myself and see what happens? Which is exactly what I did. And spoiler alert, that's the thing that's worked for me. But I had no idea that he had created this. And so, I am tagging you here. Anton, I'd love to have an actual conversation with you about this, because I've agreed with a lot of your points. I've seen your...
So, so on and so forth. I'm not going to deep dive into it and all of this stuff, but I see a lot of people that have been reaching out to me, a whole lot of people that have been reaching out to me saying, I want to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation. I make them go viral, whatever. And one thing about me, though, I will tell you is that I always link back to the content creator, right? I always link back to the content creator, and I always give credit. And so a lot of people don't even realize why they're blowing up. You're blowing up because I did a video and I gave you credit, and I put a link down in the description back to who you are. So shout out to everybody that's benefiting. And that is one of the 2 shows that I am having coming to Room 9 is people that agree or disagree, or content creators that have made videos that I decided to do a reaction to, and they still want to have an extended conversation. And we're going to talk about whatever it is that they agree or disagree with me about on the platform, and that'll be on Room 9. So we're going to go. We going with that. That's going to be a new thing, and so we popping off with that. B Rye V2 says 80 off topic. My HOA told us we can't park on the streets anymore. These HOAs are getting out of hand. It's crazy. That's one of the things about being with everything is a yin and a yang. So you'll go into a place and you'll say, well, listen, I don't want no ghetto-ness, or I don't want the people putting up Halloween stuff in the summertime on the lawn, and we need to get some control to make sure that we keep our property values up. Well, guess what? That same HOA is going to say, hey, listen, you might be the ghetto one. We don't want you parking on the streets. We want our streets a certain way so that we can keep our property values up. That's what you pay them for, right? I prefer not to be in HOAs. I only got one property that's in an HOA. Only one that's in an HOA. What are the rules in your HOA? Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's head over to Los Angeles. Let's head over to Los Angeles and talk about it. Spencer Pratt, Karen Bass, and the like. Out here in these streets battling in the primaries in Los Angeles.
The votes are still being counted in both the California gubernatorial race, where Javier Becerra and Steve Hilton are battling it out for the top 2 spots, and the Los Angeles mayoral election, where incumbent Karen Bass is advancing, with Spencer Pratt currently in second. Here are what the leading candidates have to say about the current state of this race. Watch.
I have devoted my entire life to serving the city that I love, where I was born, and I'm going to continue to do that all the way to victory in November.
Thinking everybody's emotions and the hope people have put on me. Again, I'm going to prove to everybody this is for real, and I'm ready to run the city.
As your governor, I am ready to lead the fight to uphold California's promise, to make sure we have the governance worthy of our gifts.
I'm here to fight for you and to help you to have that chance at following your dream, whatever it is. That's the whole point of my campaign, is practical things that will help everyone.
Here to react, voter registration activist and Early Vote Action founder Scott Pressler joins me now. Scott, good morning. Great to see you. A whole lot to get to. And let's start off with...
Look at Scott with that beautiful hair. Hey, Scott.
The Los Angeles mayoral race, where
Scott got a washing press before he came on Fox News, and he said, listen, I got to get my face card popping, skin exfoliated, part done, hair on, what do y'all say, on fleek. I see you, Scott. Get it off on them.
Karen Bass is advancing.
Eyes blue. Chest hair out. Chain out. Scott said, I'm here, bro. I'm here.
To the November runoff. Spencer Pratt currently in second place, although that position has yet to be finalized. Despite that, he is feeling confident right now. Take a listen to what he had to say last night. Watch.
I hate y'all so much. He said that N-word beautiful.
I'm ready for whatever God puts in front of me, and we have 5 months to put the best team the city could ever dream of. I mean, she knows it's on. I hope she's ready, because I literally could not be more excited.
Your thoughts on this race and where things stand right now?
Well, good morning. Mayor Karen Bass said that they have a foundation to build on, and unfortunately, she's right, because while she was
all you need is some lip fillers. That's all you need. Couple lip, top, bottom, left, right. So all you need is some lip fillers.
Posing for pictures in Ghana, it was her home city of Los Angeles that was burning to the ground because of her feckless and weak leadership. There are still a lot of votes to count, but I'm hopeful that Spencer Pratt will make the runoff and be one of our candidates going into the November election.
Okay, so let's move over to the California gubernatorial race. All still close to call, but with 56% of the vote total in, Steve Hilton is currently in the lead with 27.7% of the vote, followed by Javier Becerra at 25.4%, and then Tom Steyer in third. Democrats are saying that those results could drastically change as mail-in ballots continue to be counted, which typically lean left. But this is an undeniably strong showing for Steve Hilton. From what you can see right now, does he make it to the November election?
I think it was incredibly important for President Donald Trump to put his thumb on the scale and to endorse Steve Hilton. A lot of people don't know that it's the top two candidates that go to the runoff in November, that regardless of party, it could be two Democrats that lock out a Republican. So coming together on behalf of Steve Hilton, number one, right now, there are still millions of votes to count. But if you're a Republican in California right now, you've got to be smiling at these results.
Yeah.
If you actually look at the charts of California and how they vote, you can actually tell that the majority, and this is kind of how most states are set up. Even states that tend to go blue, like California and New York, most states kind of look like this, to where the majority of the state is red. America is red. A lot of people don't know that. America is red. It's red is all get out. America is red. We are actually still a conservative Republican country, is red. And then you have large pockets of blue. So you'll take, for example, a California, Los Angeles inside of California, the city of New York, where it's 8 million people, and you'll have a concentration of a bunch of illegal immigrants and liberals and all of these people in pink hair and blue hair. And that large pocket, that large concentration of people will be blue. But the majority of America is red. Just like even California. California is red. Real talk. It's red. And so when I see a lot of these results and stuff like that, because most people don't understand civics, because most people are not familiar with what goes on as far as how politics works, how voting works, how redistricting works, how all of that type of stuff works, it's very hard for them to understand exactly how your vote counts or whether it don't count. But because they don't want to educate themselves, they'll just say, I'm not voting. My vote don't count. It don't matter.
And, I was thinking about that because there is a through line between Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton in that they're both outside candidates and they both ran on quality of life issues. So what does that say about the state of California and if real change could potentially be coming?
Well, one concern that a lot of voters have is, when are we going to find out the results of these elections? Is it going to take hours? Is it going to take days? Is it going to take weeks? And in addition to quality of life, one thing I'm hearing from voters on the ground is they demand election security. And I'm hopeful that while we are receiving these results, there's going to be continued pressure on legislators to pass legislation like the Save America Act.
So if you look at the results at the bottom where it says, let me back up for a second. Hilton, Becerra, and Steer, right? For example, let me tell you what my prediction is about this whole situation. California and Los Angeles is going to stay blue. I believe that Spencer Pratt, do I think that Spencer Pratt should win? I do. I really do think that Spencer Pratt should win. I'm a fan of the things that he stands for. I'm a fan of his campaign, and I think that he'd do a hell of a job better than Karen Bass. But I believe, this is what I believe. This is what I'm predicting. I believe that Los Angeles is going to stay blue. And I think that California is going to stay blue. And some people will look at Steve Hilton and say, well, Steve Hilton is taking a majority of the vote. Well, that's because you got Democrats that splitting the vote amongst each other. But if you really had a runoff today, it would probably be a Democrat that wins governor of California. I'm just keeping it 100. And somebody is in the chat saying, well, Democrats cheat. Agreed. Fair enough. But here's the reality, though. Even amongst their cheating, there's still a large portion of people that vote blue. And it doesn't matter how expensive it is. You can see people over in California complaining about gas prices, regulation. The majority of gas prices over in California is not even based off of the gas price itself or the oil price itself. Is based off of the taxes that go along with it in order for California to get their cut. I just did a story the other day about how $2.5 billion of the Eaton Fire money has just vanished. And nobody knows where it's at, right? Homelessness, doo-doo, all on the streets. People that don't know where they're going to get their next meal. Everybody complaining about affordability. The fight with the whole fire money, some of it was used in order to fight against ICE over there in that city, over in Los Angeles, right? And so we could sit here and we could say, oh, this is going to happen and this is not going to happen. My prediction is that California and Los Angeles is going to stay blue. I don't think that Spencer Pratt is going to win. And I don't think they care. It don't matter what the ad is. It don't matter none of that. I think that California is going to stay blue. Gavin Newsom is going to run for president. I think that Gavin Newsom is going to lose out in a Democratic primary to the Pennsylvania governor. I think he's going to run for president. And Los Angeles is going to vote for Karen Bass. And it doesn't matter how y'all feel about the fires. It don't matter how bad of a job she is. None of that. I don't think that she's in danger of losing her seat at all. That's my prediction. And I know that they may bother some people because they want me to be optimistic, but California is California. They think differently. They think that, listen, you don't even know what liberal looks like until you go out to California, bro, until you go out to Los Angeles. You have no clue what liberalism looks like until you go out to Los Angeles and you go out to Portland. Then you're going to see, wait a minute, we live in two different lives. For all of y'all that's living down south, for some of y'all that's living in the Midwest, for those, y'all don't even know what liberal look like. You think that liberalism is based off of the fact that you're able to buzz down who you want to buzz down. Guess what? Republicans are having sex too. Republicans are cross-dressing too. Republicans are doing drugs too. All of the people are doing the same thing when it comes to their lives and sexualization of it. When it talks about cultural norms and what we want best for our children, the next generation, that's really where you separate how people feel politically. That's how you separate how people feel politically. It's two things that separate what a person feels from a politics perspective, right? The first thing is, well, wait a minute, what's best for my kids? People that don't mind transitioning their kids, they usually gonna lean blue. People that want what's best for their kids, regardless of how they live their life. We could be out here busting down the hoes, tricking off the money, having a good time, but guess what? We want better for our children and we want for ourselves. We don't want that for our kids. We'll take her, dang, she got a fatty. But we don't want our kids to be like that. We hypocritical. It's people. People will be in this chat and they'll say, oh, you ain't this, man. You've been married your whole life. And they'll do it as an insult. They did it yesterday or the other day, right? And I'll say, yeah, I know. I feel you. Guess what they want their kid to be like? A nerd that's been married their whole life, that ain't out here getting messed up and tricked off on and tricked out of their pockets and stuck in family court with multiple different kids, with multiple different women paying child support and complaining, saying that we need to decenter women. The very thing that we go off on other people about is the very thing that we want our kid to be. We want our kid to be rich. We want our kid to be successful, have a strong family and parenting life. Don't want to have a bunch of baby kids, baby mamas, baby daddies, and all of this stuff. And so the life, when people look at things politically, they're not looking at it from the lens of what's best for them. They're looking at it from the lens of how they would want their children and what society to become. They don't want women and men in women's bathrooms because they go in women's bathrooms. That's not something that we'll ever experience. They don't want men in women's bathrooms because they think that messes up the culture and what's the best for our children. That's the first thing. The second thing that they care about is their money and their opportunity. Those are the two biggest factors to determine if somebody is going to be Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal. I don't want to pay more taxes. You don't want to pay more taxes. And the people that want you to pay more taxes tend to be poor. When you hear Stephen A. say, listen, I'm liberal in my views, but I'm conservative with my dollars. When he's speaking from the lens of a person that want to protect his income. Don't nobody want to, everybody want to say, yo, I think that we should be doing more for these people when they in this situation, but when they're not in that situation, they're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? I'm about to take my money
Why you want to take my money? Heck no. No, I worked hard for this. Why you get a bigger cut of it? And what are you going to do with it? Steal it? Fraud? Minneapolis? Somalis? Daycares? Leering Center? No. We need to do an audit over there. We're not going to keep on playing this game. Affordable housing? What do you mean affordable housing? No, let the market do what it's supposed to do. Whoever fails, fails. If he dies, he dies. Spirit Airlines, we don't fly Spirit over here. Low cost carrier? Subsidizing? $500 million in taxpayer dollars? Nah, let them fail. Heck no. I'm not taking no more of my money. So when people vote, they're not voting based off of how they feel unless they under duress, which you then tend to see more people under duress. They vote based off of how they feel about what's going to happen to their dollar and their children. Where can I raise my children and how can I preserve my income? Chief says Republicans got our dollars going to wars and Proud Boys. Actually, Democrats tend to be the ones that have our dollars going overseas, not even just to wars, but warmongers, people that displace people in other countries. They just more covert with it. And not only that, they'll give their money. See, here's the other part of it. The Democrats, they'll give your money to people that ain't even from this country. Hey, you want to come over here? You want to open up a daycare? We got some money for you as long as we get our cut. There's nobody that should be under investigation more than Gavin Newsom, Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, and whoever it is in California's legislature that is distributing the money for homelessness, fires, and all of that type of stuff. No, what you talking about? Republicans, listen, everybody's stealing. What we trying to figure out is who's stealing the most, because you got to start at the top and you got to work your way down. Everybody's stealing. Everybody's stealing. Everybody's stealing. Everybody getting to the money. Dummy. You the fool that think that, listen, when we vote but Republican versus Democrat, we talking about culture. If you want to find out what a fraud is, you can find them both at the table. They actually cool with each other. They pretend like they're not cool with each other for us so that they can then create chaos and then they can create confusion because they have an agenda in order to try to stay in office. You the fool that keep thinking that you an exception. We need to vote for the Democrats. You're so dumb. You're so dumb. The Democrats are doing it. They all doing it. You the only person being left out, fool. You're the only person that don't know where the money is. It's the Republicans doing it. It's the Democrats doing it. All y'all is fools. You just getting finessed. Only person that don't get it. That's why you need to understand how to get the money and how to preserve the money. It's the Democrats. It's the Republicans. You dummy. You fell right for the trap. Still saying the same thing that our grandparents were saying. Wish y'all would wake up. The concept of what a Republican is makes the most sense to me because we are a republic governed by the Constitution, don't believe in birthright citizenship, going to people that's not supposed to be in the country, so on and so forth. But we still need to find out where the money is. I don't care who you are. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to it. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you nothing except for what I really know and what I really believe. Cypher says he's going. Talking about the gat outs on the panel for Fox. Y'all crazy. Without question says, would you like some Grey Poupon? Would you like some Grey Poupon? San Juan says, speaking of restrooms, how come women don't go into men's restrooms? You know why. You know why. Keon, what up to my dog Keon? Been out of the game for a little bit, but I know he's been getting to the money. He says, Been without and content for approximately 5 years, and dudes with box light is trying to tell me if I don't use it, I'll lose it. I'm quick to say you're right. If I don't use my mind, I'll lose my mind. Got to stay focused. It's the mob, MOB, money over, because it breed envy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dog Keon. Yeah. It's a two live says Anton going to women's restrooms. I can go into your mama's restroom, ho. I sure will. Change her life. How you calling me daddy? Make your mama call me. Make your mama tell you to call me. No, this is daddy right here. What you mean? That ain't daddy. That's Anton. I watch him on the internet. No, I'm your daddy, boy. I'm your daddy. I'm at least her daddy. Anton, if you had a chance to make a 5-minute phone call to somebody in heaven, who would it be and what would you say? I wouldn't. I'll see you when I get there. I ain't trying to talk to nobody up there. That means that you ain't even here no more. Either you did something wrong that got you into heaven as far as getting your life over, or you lived your life. Give me a second. Let me do my thing down here. Listen, give me another 45, 50 years and I'll see you on the flip side. Meet me at the crossroad so you won't be lonely. Crossroad. I see you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. Meet you at the crossroads. And I want to meet everybody. I miss my Uncle Charles. How do I feel about the not guilty verdict with the 14-year-old black kid? What's the name of the guy? Because y'all been hitting me up all yesterday. I seen y'all on After Hours yesterday saying, Anton, what about the Asian man? What about the Asian man? And are you going to talk about it? We want to get your thoughts on it. What's the name of the guy so I can look it up on YouTube and we can go ahead and settle this? Rick Chow. Is that his name? Rick Chow. All right, well, let's find out what Rick Chow said. Rick Chow. Oh, Rick Chow. All right, we got to get some insight on what happened. All right, a second. Let me understand it. Let's do some research so that I can speak to it and not just give an uninformed opinion. All right. This is information about Rick Chow.
And good evening now. We begin tonight with the latest in the Rick Chow murder trial, as today marks 3 years since 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton was shot and killed outside a Columbia gas station.
And today jurors heard hours of emotional testimony from witnesses.
Let me first of all, you kind of stat. Okay. I see you. The first thing that I have to say though is what is wrong with the American justice system? And that it takes 3 years. Why does it take 3 years to have a trial? What happened to a speedy trial? Why does it take 3 years in order to get something done in this country? We got too much red tape, bro. We got too much red tape in this country. We got to figure out how to speed this junk up. I would love for some kind of politician to give us a solution to that. We got to figure out how to get these people, even the people that's on death row. You know what I'm saying? People on death row, they be on death row for 20 years. And you know, it's extended. We got a backlog of bureaucracy over in this country, and we need to figure out how to fix this. That's the one thing. What you mean 3 years? That's the reason why I know about it. I don't even know how y'all know about it. That was 3 years ago. 3 years? Anyways, let's continue on.
While also seeing newly released body camera and store surveillance video from the day of that shooting. We want to show you one of those moments right now.
Oh, so this was a real life menace to society moment. Some of y'all are too young. You may not be familiar with menace to society. Rick Chow found not guilty for the murder of a black boy. This is straight out of Menace to Society. Hurry up and buy. 03 Rick Chow. This is a hurry up and buy moment. All right, so now I see why y'all so upset about it. Now I see why everybody is up in arms about what's going on. So apparently they suspected him of stealing. I can't tell whether he actually stole or not, but apparently they suspected him of stealing and having something inside of his hoodie or hiding or something like that. And when he decided that he ain't going for it and he wanted to leave out of the store, they all was like, no, 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 you're not old dog.
In this video, you see Cyrus wearing a red jacket, telling Rick Chow's wife he does not have any water in his pockets before picking up his backpack and walking out of the store.
And shortly after, Cyrus was chased by Rick Chow and his son, Andy, before the teenager was shot.
News 19's Kiki Gushu was in the courtroom for all of today's testimony and the moment these videos were shown to jurors.
She is joining us right now from outside the Richland County Courthouse with the latest update. Hi there, Kiki.
Erica, JR, today's testimony moved away from what happened in the street that night Cyrus Carmack Belton was shot and moved back into the Shell gas station that Rick Chow owned. Now today, most of the afternoon was spent showing the jurors, the prosecution showing the jurors, surveillance video from that Shell gas station. They also brought to the stand a new witness, investigator Tama Jordan. Now, the state played surveillance footage showing Cyrus inside the store and questioned former investigator Tama Jordan about the gas station's camera system. Jordan testified Rick Chow's familiar with the surveillance equipment, and prosecutors repeatedly asked whether those cameras could have been used to help identify Cyrus later rather than chasing him.
Do you think you would have some tools to help identify him?
Yes.
And investigate whether or not he had stolen water?
Yes.
Do you feel confident law enforcement could have handled this?
Absolutely.
Also presented testimony from a firearms expert who said the bullet recovered in the case matched a Glock 45. Late in the day, the defense shifted its focus to Cyrus' case.
Absolutely.
Also presented testimony from a firearms expert who said the bullet recovered in the case matched a Glock 45. Late in the day, the defense shifted its focus to Cyrus's matched a Glock 45. Testimony from a also presented testimony from a firearms expert who said the bullet recovered in the case matched a Glock 45.
So the wife right here is sitting here watching him. And so this is the reason that she suspected him for stealing, in which nobody in here is it sounds like nobody is actually is sure of whether he actually stole or not. So the question isn't, all right, so let's slow down for a second. The question isn't whether he stole or not. I don't think that that's the real concern from people. Just looking at this on the surface and realizing it and learning about it right now. I don't think that people are concerned with whether he stole or not, because regardless of whether he stole or not, nobody is going to make the case that he should have died as a result of stealing. Doesn't matter if he stole, right? Because if he stole the water, then people are going to say, but that doesn't mean that it should have cost him his life. If he did steal the water, if he didn't steal the water, nobody is going to say, well, that means that it should have cost him his life because he looked like he stole. So either way, nobody is going to make the case, regardless of what side of the fence that you're on, nobody is going to make the case and say, well, that justifies you getting killed, or, regardless, right? Nobody cares about if he stole or not. That's just an extra added caveat in the conversation for people to be able to justify their argument. Because nobody can say that, well, that means he deserves to die. I don't believe that stealing water warrants somebody getting shot. Now, if something happens afterwards, a confrontation or where somebody fears for their life because they're trying to stop you from stealing, then that's a whole nother conversation. But running out of the store, grabbing your book bag, running out of the store, regardless of whether you got a water in your hoodie or you don't have water in your hoodie, because it actually looks like you put it back, nobody is going to justify you losing your life as a result of that. All right, let's continue.
Late in the day, the defense shifted its focus to Cyrus's possession of a firearm, showing jurors a social media photo taken the night before the shooting that showed him holding the same gun found at the scene. The final witness of the day was a forensic pathologist who testified about the path of the bullet through Cyrus's body, as attorneys continue to debate what his position was the moment he was shot. And court has now...
All right, so that adds another wrinkle to it, because I was trying to figure out, well, how are they able to not find this guy not guilty? Y'all don't want to tell me all of the details. That's why I need to go and do my own research. Y'all didn't want to tell me that he had a pistol, that he had a gun. Y'all didn't want to tell me that part. Y'all just wanted to say, well, he shouldn't have died over the water bottle. So y'all didn't want to tell me that he had a pistol? Because, see, that's what I was saying. The context of what happens after the incident is what you're on trial for. He's not on trial for stealing a water bottle. He's not on trial for whether or not they suspected him for stealing a water bottle. He's not on trial for running. What they're putting him on trial for is if the killing is justified. That's what because if somebody steals from you, you have the right to chase them and get your property back. I'm going to just keep it 100. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care who feels some type of way about it. I'm going to keep it 100. If somebody steals from you and I don't care if it's a ring, I don't care if it's a Rolex, I don't care if it's a bottle of water. If somebody takes something that's yours, you have the right to go and get it back. And that's why criminals feel so comfortable doing what they want to do, because they know that you ain't going to do nothing about it, or the police ain't going to do nothing about it, because they're going to say, well, it was just this, or it was just that. Well, it's not worth your life, right? But now that we have more context, and this is why I want to go and look at it more, because again, let's say hypothetically that somebody steals something out the store, completely unrelated to this trial, and then I'm going to bring it back in a circle. Let's say, for example, somebody steals something out the store, right? And you say, hey, man, don't steal my stuff. Hey, man, you can't steal out of my store. Oh, you ain't going to pay for your food? Let's say somebody order your food, they bag it up, and then they grab the bag and say, man, I ain't paying for this. Suck my D. And then they walk outside and you say, hey, man, you got to pay for that. You can't just come in here and take your stuff. You can't just do that. Now, let's say y'all get into a tussle and then somebody shoots somebody inside of the parking lot, right? Nobody is going to come back and say, well, they shouldn't have died over a meal, over a $20 meal, over a $25 order. You should have never pursued them. No, you have the right to stop somebody from stealing from your establishment. Now, the whole conversation of what happens after y'all confront each other, because the real question we should be asking ourselves is, why are you in there causing problems that then lead to all of the rest of this stuff? Because again, I believe that you have the right to pursue somebody, or you have the right to stop somebody from doing something to your property, from doing something inside of your house, from doing something inside of your business, all of that other stuff, right? Somebody says if you work for, that's not correct. If you work for a company, you will get fired for chasing. Well, guess what? That wasn't working for a company. That was their store. I'm not talking about you rent-a-cops. I'm not talking about mall cops. This ain't Paul Blart. That was the wife, the husband, and the son working in their own store. This ain't no movie. This is real life. People put their hard work and tears into things. And they tired of you coming in there doing your little your takeovers and stealing everything. Oh, somebody said, see, y'all thought that I was going to be on your side because you didn't think that I was going to do the research, and you thought that I was just going to look at somebody's narrative of how they painted it, and I wasn't going to look at all of the details. And now you thought that I was just going to say, oh man, because before I found out that he had a pistol, all the way up until the point that I found out that he had a pistol, I was like, well, listen, this ain't going to go well. He probably should have been found guilty. But now that I see that he walking around with a pistol, how come y'all not adding that context in there? How come y'all didn't say, well, why he walking around with a gun? Why you got a teenager walking around with a gun? Why y'all not adding that part into it? Because I want to know the whole story. I don't want to know half of it. Somebody said chasing somebody over a water is wild. Man, stealing is wild. Coming off, walking around with a gun as a teenager is wild. Why he walking around with a pistol and where his parents at? It used to be if you stole anything, you stole an orange from a street vendor back in the day, nigga, you can get your hand cut off depending on what country you in. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to the rest of the story. I want to understand it.
Wrapped for the day. The state is expected to rest tomorrow, and then it will be the defense's turn to bring witnesses to the stand. At 11, I'll be bringing you a recap of all of today's testimony. Stay tuned for that.
Y'all said he had it in his, it fell out of his pocket, and they said he pulled it on him, but was shot in the back. Details are wild. I'm going to get to the rest of the details.
And I'll be in the courtroom for the rest of this trial, bringing you the latest. Live in Richland County, Kiki Gushu, News 19, WLTX.
All right, Kiki, thank you so much.
News 19's Christy Calcagno sat down with an attorney today to get a better understanding of what happened today. Take a listen.
We're talking about with this video in the convenience store. There were parts that we were able to hear everything, which was also really interesting. And then also kind of those close-up shots, also specifically showing the water bottles.
Yes.
The moment on that. Kind of break that down for me. I mean, we were able to see some close-up shots. And like we said, all of this happening in the span of 2 minutes.
Right. I think the video clearly shows he didn't steal anything. You see him go to the cooler and, I counted. He took 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he kind of pauses and puts 1, 2, 3, 4 back. So then when he leaves, it kind of left me wondering, well, what was his purpose for going there to begin with? Because he gets the water bottles. He knows he's being watched, right? Because they tell him to put his backpack up. And he complies with that. He follows.
Let me tell you how stupid people in the chat are. Ike says the question isn't, what's the name of the kid? Cyrus Carmack? Let me ask y'all a question. He was 14 years old. How many, let me tell you how dumb people are, and this is why I don't entertain foolishness. The question isn't whether he had a gun, it's whether he possessed it illegally and used it unlawfully. You can't be a 14-year-old with a gun, you dummy. What 14-year-old you know that can possess a gun legally? Why would you even type that? You can't be a 14-year-old with a gun. There's no legal process for you to be able to carry a gun as a 14-year-old. So if the question is whether he possessed it illegally and used it unlawfully, then yes and yes. To answer your question, yes and yes. Y'all shoot yourself in the foot by saying some of the... This is why I don't align with the culture, man. This is why I don't align with what people are saying. This is why I don't care for people trying to create a narrative. No 14-year-old should be carrying a gun. Are y'all out of y'all minds? What is wrong with y'all? Why? Again, nobody wants to answer this question because nobody wants to actually have the uncomfortable conversation. Why is a 14-year-old carrying a gun in the streets? Why is a 14-year-old carrying a gun in the streets? You want to know how he got off? Because he shouldn't have had a pistol. And this is the reality of life, right? Let me tell you what life is about. When you go to gun classes as an adult, do you know what they tell you? They warn you. They spend probably 80 to 90% of the time trying to tell you this. They say, listen. It should be your last. And when I say your last. You feel for your life. There's nothing you can do about it. Everything is gonna be up. You just think that everybody about to die, whatever, blah, 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 as a reason for you to be able to pull it out. It should never, you should run, do whatever. But when you pull that gun out, know this, that whatever happens after you pull that gun out, you have to be accountable. You are going to be held accountable for your actions when you decide to pull that pistol out. What are they telling you when they're telling you this inside of the class? They're telling you that you deciding to get strapped means that you got to be 100% accountable for whatever happens after that. How you react to it, the whole 9 yards. If you don't understand it, then don't sit here and try to get a pistol. Now, let's extrapolate that a little bit and talk about the fact that we got 14-year-olds carrying pistols. Adults are justifying a 14-year-old carrying a pistol. Adults in my chat are trying to convince me that it is okay. This is the culture that we live in. They are trying to tell me that it is okay for a 14-year-old to be carrying a pistol. What am I trying to tell you with this whole conversation? Is that the minute that you do something that you're not supposed to do, all cards are off the table. All of the cards is off the table. You lose. You got to be 100% right 100% of the time in order for you to be able to get justification for doing the things that you do, right? It's like somebody at their job, right? And somebody will say, well, I got fired for no reason or because they discriminated against me. And let's assume that they actually are discriminated against you, but you showed up late every single day this week. Now, we have one case where we can say, yep, they did discriminate against you. But then when we pull your time card and say, but wait a minute, you gave them a reason to fire you. I can't even pursue them for discrimination because you late every day. Because you not on your P's and Q's. Because you don't have no case because you gave them a reason to be able to fire you. When you raise a complaint or when something happens to you, you got to have all your ducks in a row. Otherwise, they're going to say, but wait a minute. We talking about discrimination, but they fired you for being late. What am I telling you? I'm telling you that it is hard for you to sit there when it ain't no cameras, when they chased him off and it ain't no cameras where he got killed at, and it's my word against yours, and they able to prove, but wait a minute, why is a 14-year-old holding a gun? All cards is off the table. All cards are off the table. You know why? Because your kids should not have been carrying a gun. So it's hard for them to argue in your favor when you carrying a pistol. Is it right? Probably not that he got killed. He could have saved his life. They could have not chased him. He could have not did any of this stuff. They could have not pursued him over some water. But they did. And guess what happens when you out here doing stuff that you're not supposed to do? It makes it much more difficult to hold somebody else accountable because you put yourself in a position to have to deal with these consequences. I don't care what you think I am. You can think I'm wrong. I'm telling you, listen, I'm not the person that was on trial. I'm telling you why he got off. This don't have nothing to do with me. I don't have an opinion. I don't really care because it's not my kid and it's not my culture and it's not something that I embrace. And my kid don't walk around with a pistol. This ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to tell you why you keep finding yourself on the back end of trying to understand why people keep beating these cases. You keep telling me about how I'm wrong, but the jury said I'm right. The legal system and the jury is telling me that I'm right. You wrong. Mr. Chow, Chow, is going to be going back to his store and he's going to live his life. And you missing a kid. Dummy. You can feel how you want to feel. I'm trying to tell you what the truth is, the reality of the world that we live in. This ain't got nothing to do with right or wrong. This has something to do with, do you understand the consequences of your actions and why you need to gird up and do things differently in order to get better results? You keep talking to me like I'm the person that's on trial. I don't care nothing about what happened in this trial. I just found out about it yesterday. I used to have this slogan that I used to say back when I used to curse a lot on this show, and I would say, F your feelings. F your feelings. Don't nobody care about how you feel. Mr. Child was walking around comfortable right now. The only reason that they pulled this case in the first place was because of what? Because the people asked them to try it. Now, you messed up the district attorney's record by trying a case that he knew he was going to lose because you wanted to be activists. Keep on doing what you're doing and keep on getting the what you going to do about it? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's back up for a minute.
The defense shifted its.
Do something. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at Mr. Child. Do something then. Do something. George Zimmerman's still walking around here comfortable. Do something then. You fake online activists that think that y'all tough. You don't get mad at me because I'm looking at it and I'm observing it and calling a spade and trying to help you to understand why you a dummy. Do something then. Don't get mad at me. You should be writing Mr. Child. Go write your district attorney. Go talk to your legislators in your state. Go talk to the judge and tell them to change the laws and then get some justice. Coming in here inside of my chat feeling like I need to be able to give you some solid. You want me to make you feel good? Want me to rub your back? Want me to put some powder in your diaper? You sucker. Oh man, Ant ain't on my side. I ain't on your side. I'm on the side of results, and you can't get none because all you do is type hard. You a hard typer. That's all you do. I don't like it. You a typer. Don't know nothing. You a Monday morning courtroom quarterback. You ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all ain't never gonna do nothing. Y'all gonna get on TikTok. Y'all gonna complain about it for the next two to 3 days, and then y'all gonna move on. And as soon as they drop another video about Diddy and his freak offs, y'all gonna be on X, formerly known as Twitter, going on that platform when y'all said that y'all was done with Twitter. You're gonna go on there, just go and search the video so you can watch Diddy's little penis. Hard typers, Monday morning activists and quarterbacks. Ain't never been to a city council meeting. You don't even know where Mr. Chow is. You don't even know what county this is. You don't even know where y'all ain't nobody taking y'all serious. But you didn't tell us what we wanted to hear. I know. But I told you what you needed to hear. Whether you take it or not is up to you. Suckers. Mad in your feelings, emotional, feeling some type of way. Mr. Child just chilling, riding in his car. Peekaboo. 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 Trying to tell you how to save your black kids, and you sitting there debating with me. Guess what? Even if Mr. Child was found guilty, your kid ain't coming back. So the question really is, how do you proactively protect your children from not being in these situations in the first place? Maybe they shouldn't be carrying guns in the street. Nobody want to have that conversation out. Peekaboo. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications while you in your feelings and your emotions. Take some time to do that. Peekaboo. TS Car Wash and Detail Service. I'm the king, man. I'm so good at this. And it makes you mad. It makes peekaboo. I'm so good at this, and it makes you mad. You feeling some type of way about it. Peekaboo. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says, AD, please check out. I sent you the Marlon Cook Aries video with the timestamps at 12:35. All right, I'll look at that in a minute. I'll go to that after New York. B Hunter, the spot in the building. I appreciate you, B Hunter. Lance says, play the video of the closing arguments and we'll all see how you got off. All right, I'm gonna have to come. I gotta move on to my dog Lance. Lance, let me call you in a minute. I'll call you as soon as I get off this live stream. Patrick, PNB stood up for his chain. The GOAT says Kyle Rittenhouse was underage and traveled across state lines and wasn't held accountable for it. Tell me, somebody fill me in on what's going on. What is Kyle Rittenhouse about? I don't remember that one. Kyle Rittenhouse. An American man who shot and killed 2 people and injured another during the 2020 Kenosha, Wisconsin unrest that followed the police shooting of Jacob Blake. The 17-year-old from Antioch, Illinois, was armed with an AR-15 rifle and joined a group of armed people who said they were there to protect businesses. Rittenhouse claimed he acted in self-defense, and the jury acquitted him of all charges. Well, we'll have to revisit that because I don't know the details of that. Crash Out or Cash Out says, Chow. Lives in my neighborhood and I could walk to his house. Literally had a firearm, no money, and an empty backpack. Nothing good was coming. Messi Michonne, what up, Messi? Says, you are absolutely right. They never want to address the minors are carrying weapons and nothing changes. Wash, rinse, repeat. What's up, Messi? What up, Mess? I'm about to bring Messi to the city. Treat her well. I'm about to have Messi in the suite, presidential suite, with a driver, getting pampered in the city. The GOAT says play the son taking a stand and went viral. All right, y'all want me to spend the whole, y'all listen, look. If y'all want me to create a show and dedicate a show to just cases, it's funny because that's actually what Molly and Miss Sanchez have been begging me to do. And so I got to figure that out because they are going to be spending their time focusing on just cases. Then I'll do that. All right. Let me see what else is going on. What did y'all say that y'all wanted me to look at real quick? What did y'all say y'all wanted me to look at? It was something else y'all said y'all wanted me to look at. Marlon and Aries. All right. Let me see what I can find that. Y'all said at the 12. Y'all notice how the Breakfast Club started making a clips longer because they was getting killed, and so they probably begged Netflix and said, "Hey Netflix, can we have longer clips so that we can keep our YouTube channel relevant?" 12:35. Marlon clipping Aries at 12:35. 12:35. 12:35.
About my stand-up.
Damn. See, well, can you tell him that I
because
love him?
you bring in the wrong dude. That Sean mind his business.
Yeah.
And you know, Aries, I ain't never had a problem with Aries. We ain't got no problem. I wish the brother nothing but love. Why is my name in your mouth? Well, I'm doing this. I have this problem with DJ Vad. You know, me and Vlad over it, but for you to talk about my price, if I say on your platform, you got to pay me this, then that's what you're going to pay me because that's what I feel my value is worth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not for you as a black man to go on a white man's platform and discuss my value. He has, because Vlad, he was asking everybody, you know, hey, DL Hughley, that's not my business, right? Hey, Tony Yayo, yo, black, that's not my business. You know, then he asked Aries, well, hey, you got to ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? If you talking about Marlon Wayans, you talking about, is the juice worth the squeeze? Hold up, first of all, why are you talking about my money? Why do you have an opinion? I don't have an opinion about your money. When you sound like a old coon, a slave. You sound like that nigga Sam Jackson played in Django. Boss, if in the juice, it's worth the squeeze, boss. That's all I need to say, boss. Is that juice worth the squeeze, boss? Nigga. Now, fast forward to who's in the beef with Vlad trying to get their money. And if Vlad once again putting your stuff public, that's a bad negotiation tactic. First of all, Vlad. And I don't sit there and go, hey, Vlad, boss, is the juice worth the squeeze? That's between you and that man. I wish you get your money, Aries. But you ain't got to sit there and try and drag me down. He talk about my stand-up. He talk about this. He always got something smart to say. And one day, he going to fuck around. He going to see Sean. And before Sean beat that nigga ass, because it will happen. And we doing more than just stand-up. Like, we got money that we making, right? So I'm like, yo, and people sue nowadays. They get litigious. And before Sean beat that nigga's ass, I'm gonna hold my brother back. I'm like, Sean, hey, is the juice worth the squeeze? Right?
Here's my question, and I'm gonna just tell y'all, real talk, 100%. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. Here's my thoughts. Because everybody is missing it, as usual. Everybody is missing it. And this is just a stand that I'm about to just take. I'm just taking this as a stand. And I know that everybody is aligning themselves with this person. And y'all all supposed to be pro-culture, pro all of this stuff. Why is everybody going at everybody and they're letting Vlad make all of the money on everybody going at everybody, but y'all keep saying that y'all rock with the culture, but everybody's still pulling up to the same platform? I can't blame Vlad because nobody is really doing nothing except for going at everybody on behalf of Vlad. I don't care about Ari Spears. I damn sure don't care about Marlon Wayans because I think that Marlon Wayans is one of the biggest promoters of the zesty culture. But everybody complaining on other platforms about everybody else on this platform, yet they continue to go on the platform. That don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense to me. And then they talking about it on this platform on the Breakfast Club, and guess what y'all doing? All y'all doing is continuing to give them more visibility and more promotion. I can't even be mad at Vlad. I'm mad at the people that say that they're against him. Marlon Wayans was going back and forth with Vlad, and now he said, but me and Vlad is okay now. Why? Yo, listen. You got the Art of Dialogue. You got Say Cheese. You got a whole lot of different platforms that you can go on. And y'all sitting here only talking about this. What is he giving y'all? What is y'all doing? Do y'all owe him some money? Do y'all feel like, is he a gatekeeper? What's going on? Why do y'all love this guy so much? I'm dead serious. I'm trying to understand what's going on. What is it about this guy that y'all adore and that y'all love so much that y'all continue to let this dude? Man, this is the same thing that the record labels did when they had the East Coast, West Coast beef with Pac and Big. The only winners was the record labels, was Jimmy Iovine and Interscope Records. And so everybody tried to make it seem like, oh, it's a beef between the East Coast and the West Coast. Well, who do you think that was promoting it and marketing it on the magazine covers with The Source and the Vibe magazine and the Double XL magazine? And so they profit off of you. This is what y'all don't understand. See, this is, let me tell you why it's meaningful to me, because it's more than just money. It's more than just money. Guess what I don't do with people that I used to do business with that was interviewing on my platform? Guess what I don't do? I don't go out and start talking about how much money they make. I don't go out and start putting all of their business out there. I don't switch up on them and start throwing them under the bus as soon as we no longer is necessarily doing interviews together or whatever, so on and so forth. I don't understand. I don't get it. Every single person that I've ever done an interview with, I have their phone number. I can call them right now and we have no problems whatsoever. Even when we fall out, I don't talk about their price. I don't put their business out there. I don't mess up their money. I don't say that people shouldn't do business with them. I don't do none of that. Not one person. Not one person. All the way starting from Brittany Renner. Not one person. We do good bit, and then people will see him. Bro, he was like, yo, me and Boosie was cool, and he threw Boosie under the bus as a friend. It doesn't matter if he was right about his talking point. It's certain lines that you don't cross with people that you say is your friend. When did that ever become good business? When did it ever become good business? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then was asking everybody else about what it is that you think about what they said on your platform. I ain't never interviewed somebody and then went and interviewed somebody else and said, well, what do you think about this person that I just interviewed? What? What do you mean? Even if I have a disagreement, it's like, well, I'm not touching that because that ain't got nothing to do with me. If I got a disagreement with somebody that I know in real life, guess what? Hey, man, what we doing, bro? What's going on? If I disagree, you ain't gonna know about it because that ain't your business. If we call ourselves friends in real life, that's the part that I'm confused about. Blowing my mind, don't understand it. It's very, 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 very weird to me how everybody is still running to the same people. While they turning y'all against each other. Literally turning y'all against each other for profit. Turning y'all against each other for profit, but they still using these same people in the same. And it ain't even like it's a monopoly. Like it's a lot of different platforms that you can get it off on. One thing I'll give Dame, one thing I'm going to give Dame, I don't agree with nothing that Dame is basically saying right now. Hardly. Outside of business, I like the fact that he talk about certain business concepts. I'm objective enough to say I don't really care for the way that Dame move when it comes to the people that's around him, as far as people that it seems like he used to be cool with and he made a lot of money with, but that's between him and them. But I like his business advice. But guess what Dame do? When Jay did his freestyle and he named Dame and his teeth falling out, Dame went over to Art. Dame went to Art. The next day, you seen Dame sitting with Art saying, yeah, man, and I don't like his afro. I don't like his afro. Oh, man, I look at all of these people as ops. I ain't even gonna cap, bro. I don't like none of them. As far as a lot of these, listen. I've been drew my line in the sand. I don't care nothing about none of these content creators. I don't care about Vlad. I don't care about Vlad. I don't care about Charlemagne. I don't care about none of these people. I want to beat them all. My goal is to beat all of them. My goal is to beat them. I don't want to be friends with these people. I don't want to network with them. I don't want to be cool with them. I look at these people as straight up ops in every way, shape, and form on all levels. All of these people, in my opinion, are ops. And I ain't saying ops in real life like I want to do nothing to them. I'm talking about as competition. I look at them as competition. I don't want to be friends with these people. I want to beat them in every single way possible. I want to be friends with these suckers and these gatekeepers, these people that's been around for a long time, still doing the same stuff, running the same play on y'all, and y'all still falling for the okie doke. I look at all of these people as ops. I want to win. In every way, shape, or form. There's some people that I'm cool with. Absolutely, there's some people that I'm cool with. But as far as the content creators and content creation space, man, I don't want no friends. I don't even want to be cool with nobody. I don't want to go to no network parties. I don't want to meet nobody. I don't want to collab. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to work. I'm sitting there letting these people, look at this, listen to this foolishness, bro. And when me and my brother see him, and we will see him,
right? And Sean's gonna go, nah, left. Leave niggas alone. Leave the sleeping giants alone, man. That's all.
You're right.
I ain't bother you about your little creepy pedophile sketch. Leave us the fuck alone, bro.
Damn. You see the Diddy tape? Man, what the fuck kind of segue is that?
What was
Balls
this?
out.
No balls.
What is this segue? Speaking of balls, you seen the didn't take what? Why is it all balls? No.
It's no balls.
All balls. No. All balls.
Yeah, that's enough. We see it. We hear it. We see it. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I'm so confused about it. I don't know how these people are using their platforms. I think that they all in business together. I think that they all friends. Gotta be, bro. These content creation platforms are the new record labels. That's all they are. So low hanging with the fruit, bro. So dumb. Real talk. Hey, to keep it 100 with you, and I'm gonna keep it so real. I don't know why everybody against Diddy. I don't know why everybody against Diddy. I could disagree with his behavior, but I'm trying to figure out how y'all let these people tear Diddy down like this, bro. When did it become cool to tear somebody down that was being falsely accused of something that he didn't even do? They told that man that he was running a RICO. When did Diddy become the enemy? You could disagree with somebody's lifestyle, but when did he become the enemy? When did it become cool to kick a person when they down? I guess I'm by myself. Everybody want to be a part of the culture until it's not cool to say the thing that's uncomfortable. It's so many different people that's out here doing wild stuff. And I'm still trying to figure out, when did Diddy become the enemy? I don't go based off of allegedly. What we realized during this trial is that the alleged thoughts of what popular culture is talking about don't have nothing to do with the truth. Send me an email, make them Wayne on them. Y'all let the popular culture and these platforms and media paint a picture and a narrative to actually kill this man's, destroy everything about this guy because it was fun to do. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Amazing. Insane. Diddy ain't even had no power. He wasn't even no real person. Y'all don't even know who runs the vodka companies that he was doing business with. You don't know nothing about these people. You don't even know who the people are that man, y'all so weak to me, bro. So weak. Y'all don't even know nothing. Y'all don't even got the same type of motion for the David dude that killed the underage girl. Y'all have more smoke for a freak off than y'all have for a death. Y'all had more smoke for a freak off than y'all got for somebody taking somebody's life. I don't see no deep dives, no thoughts, no none of that, no TikToks, no Instagrams, no nothing. No nothing. Everybody running to go see the tape to see how big his dick is, though. Gay. So gay. Well, y'all going over there to try to understand how big a man's cock is instead of trying to understand. Man, let me stop. Let me stop, bro. Let me stop. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I'm so weirded out by the culture. And I feel like I'm out here by myself, man. I feel like I'm the last of a dying breed. And then I'm the person that's willing to say the uncomfortable thing out loud to go against everything that everybody talking about, because I don't stand with y'all. I don't stand with what y'all talking about. I don't care about what y'all talking about. I think y'all weird, man. Papa O Naya Shelley says, Anton said, shout out to Messy. What up to my girl Messy? Lively Cut says, AD, business is booming by taking your advice, Peekaboo. Get your money, King. Get your money, King. I love to see people running up a bag. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Chase Barnes says, you run a Vlad when you need a check balance. TS Car Wash says, he said, me and Vlad over. We not we not. That's not what I heard him say. Let me rewind it. I might be wrong.
Niggas alone. Leave the sleeping giants alone. And before Sean B get me, and true. Vlad once again spoke to you talking about Marlon Wayans. Anybody, yes, that's you to talk about. I'm bringing the wrong dude. That Sean mind his business. Yeah. And you know, Aries, I ain't never had a problem with Aries. We ain't got no problem. I wish the brother nothing but love. Why is my name in your mouth? Well, I'm doing this. I have this problem with DJ Vad. You know, me and Vlad over it, but for you to talk about my price, if I say on your platform, you got to pay me this, then that's what you're going to pay me, because that's what I feel my value is worth. Mm-hmm. But it's not for you.
He just said we over with. That's all he said. He didn't say they had a relationship, none of that type of stuff. Shout out to my dog, Lance, in the building. Lance says, play the defense's closing argument and everybody will see how it happened. I sent it to you. Your audience needs it. I'm going to play it tomorrow because I wasn't even expecting to talk about that. I'm going to play it tomorrow, Lance, my dog. You going to see Scary Movies 5? I don't plan on going to the show this weekend. So if we wind up talking about something movie related, then, you know. Keon says, with your genuine continued support and comments on Diddy deserves for you to get the first interview upon his release. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, Keon. I'm not even chasing the interview. I just genuinely feel how I feel. And I've been consistent the whole time. I don't need no interview from nobody. We got motion without the interview. If it was to happen just on some genuine G stuff, then that's a whole nother conversation. But I ain't chasing nothing. I ain't reached out to his people. I ain't said, yeah, let me get an interview. I ain't on none of that. I don't even care, bro. The only thing I care about is just being real and authentic with my thoughts, regardless of whether I'm right or wrong. And I reserve the right to be able to change my mind if I got a different perspective. Some of these profile pictures is people that just get a profile picture from the internet. These ain't even real people, some of these people. So I'm going to talk about that. Somebody said go see Back Room. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I want to go over to NYC real quick, though. Get rid of this California election thing. China. Sonic Booms. Samsung is leaving New Jersey. We're going to talk about that. Dang, I wanted to talk about Steph Curry. I might have to table that. I might have to table that Steph Curry conversation.
Days, we're seeing some video of a group of people climbing down into the sewer system in New York City. This is new video of another manhole break-in. This is in Astoria, Queens. Now, last Friday, we told you about two other similar scenes in Brooklyn. Law enforcement sources say it doesn't appear to be nefarious, but still no clear answer on what's happening underground. News 4's Chris Jose has the new video and reaction from Astoria tonight.
Three random guys walking around in a strange suit. Open the sewer, go in like the Ninja Turtles.
They climbed down like the Ninja Turtles, but the trio caught on video better resembles the Mario Brothers, the group wearing hip waders, carrying flashlights.
I was looking at them, they were looking at me. I could tell they're up to no good.
Aki Jakupovic watching the group pry open the manhole cover on May 5th, just before 2 a.m. in Astoria.
They went in there, closed the cover, like, they were never here. Those two strange cars just randomly pulled up waiting for them, and one of my guys called 911.
News 4 first reported on the mystery unfolding in the New York City sewer system last Friday. 8 people, according to the NYPD, going through a manhole around 1 a.m. in Williamsburg. A second incident reported to police an hour later in Gravesend.
You're like, I saw this happen in front of my shop. That's when we actually released a video and we saw, it was going on in multiple areas.
A senior law enforcement official says it's possible the group is scavenging for valuables, a theory based on similar incidents in the last 2 years.
Why is it a crime to go into a manhole?
It's dangerous. It's the same as jaywalking or walking down the middle of a highway.
So if they choose the wrong one, they could end up in real trouble.
They could be electrocuted. They could be overcome. There's gas lines down there. There's electrical lines down there.
No injuries were reported and no arrests so far. Police have not linked any of the cases together. Underneath New York City, a sprawling underground network of more than 7,500 miles of sewer lines.
You might as well go get a tan at the beach while you're looking for treasure there than here, because it is dangerous.
New York City DEP says crews inspected the sewer system and found no damage. They're also stressing that entering the sewer system is illegal and extremely dangerous.
Why? Somebody give me some insight on exactly why somebody would be going into the sewer system. And they don't look like they just people. Somebody said that's how that lady fell in a manhole that you reported on. I believed it. That's the first thing that I started thinking about the minute that I started to see this, because I'm starting to get a lot of videos, a lot of people sending me this that's basically saying, hey, yo, a lot of these guys, this is what's happening in New York City. This is happening. And so why would they? That's a good theory. Somebody said that they're YouTubers. It's treasure hunting. People do it in Nashville. They must have watched Takers, looking for a place to hide illegals. Facts, they didn't put the cover back on. People keep saying it's for the copper wiring. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. People keep saying that it's because of the copper wiring. I don't believe that it's for the copper wiring.
Getting a personal loan when someone is drowning in debt can be the worst thing they can do for.
More now on that underground mystery. For the third time in just a few days, people were spotted climbing into manholes and entering the city's sewer system.
An underground mystery in Brooklyn tonight spanning 2 neighborhoods. The incidents happened in Williamsburg and Gravesend within about an hour. The NYPD says people were seen breaking into the sewer, entering and exiting through the manhole covers. News 4's Charles Watson in Williamsburg, where police are trying to get to the bottom of it.
Y'all saying that they think that they're going to find something cool or something unique. I don't believe that. Yes, I got premium. I was just looking at it from a different account. There you go. Premium. Well, it don't say premium up there. It got something else up there, but that's neither here nor there. These people don't look like randoms. They all dress the same. It looks like they dress with safety gear. They getting into the manhole, and it looks like they know exactly which manhole that they're going into. There's multiple different ones that they're going into. I don't think that this is a coincidence, bro. It's something else happening. And let me tell you what I think, right? It's not that I know what's going on, is that I believe that the police knows that it's something else up. The police knows that it's something else up. A lot of times what will happen, if I had to do a theory, that is some kind of drop off and pickup, that comes along with them going down there to get whatever it is that they need to get. I believe that the police and there's people that knows what's going on. They're not going to come out and tell us. They're not going to come out and tell us and say, oh, yeah, it was gold down there. Or somebody dropped a bag of money in that particular spot and it was a pickup and so they was in and out really quickly. No, they're not going to tell us. Who thinks to just go? Somebody said that, no, that ain't nothing down there. Who thinks to just go down in a manhole to just go down there just because of a scavenger hunt? Get the heck out of there, bro. I would never even think to go down in a manhole. That's the fastest way for you to be able to die, in my opinion. I ain't never thought about going underground. I ain't never went down, drove down Detroit and was like, you know what? I want to go down in a manhole. Let's just try that one day. Not even as a content creator, not even as a YouTuber.
There had been a pretty heavy police presence here at Hayward Street and Bedford Avenue in Williamsburg as police and other crews inspected a manhole after it was reported that several people were seen going into the manhole early Friday morning. It's one of two similar incidents in Brooklyn alone today.
It's really odd. It's suspicious.
Brandon Jang reacting to two incidents in Brooklyn Friday where police say groups of people were seen entering and exiting sewer manholes in the early morning hours. The latest incident attracting a large crowd of onlookers as both the NYPD and Department of Environmental Protection focused their attention on a manhole at Bedford Avenue and Hayward Street in Williamsburg. Police say this location is where 8 unidentified individuals were seen on security video entering the manhole around 1 a.m. before exiting and fleeing in a vehicle.
8 people?
One man who
entering and then fleeing in a vehicle? Nah, bro, that ain't no treasure hunt. 8 people went into a manhole and then they came out and fled in a vehicle. That's not an accident, bro. That's not an exploration. That's not a YouTube video. That's not none of that stuff, bro. That is something else that's going on, bro. And honestly, they got to take it serious because what if it's some kind of terrorist attack? What if it's something else that's going on? Nah, you got to deep dive into that. Because you're talking about infrastructure. And when you talk about infrastructure, that could be very dangerous. Nah, I'm not going for it. You're not going to convince me of that.
It's not to be identified, telling us that officials had been out here looking for hours at a scene that seemed to continue to expand.
They brought in a lot more, let's say trucks that haven't been used in a long time. Yeah. And they're blocking
know
up
what's
more
going
streets.
A second incident was reported near Collin Place and McDonald Avenue and the Gravesend section shortly after 2 Friday morning. Police say they were alerted to 7 individuals exiting a manhole there, prompting a sweep by the NYPD and other agencies that turned up no evidence of danger or wrongdoing. Back in Williamsburg, the idea of people easily
If
climbing
nothing turned up, then I think that's when you should really start to be worried.
into a manhole concerning for some.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And think about it. I look at it from a completely different lens, right? If the man spotted them, right? The guy that was like, yo, I seen them going into the manhole or whatever like that, and I immediately alerted the police and I put in I gave them the footage. I believe that is a case where they probably didn't do anything because they knew that the guy had seen them. And so that was a time that they was probably like, all right, we're not going to do nothing. Here's the question that we really have. How many of them did they go into that we don't know about? Because these are only the ones that's being reported. If a raid van comes down the street, right? If a raid van comes down the street and they raid this house on this day and they find something or they don't turn up anything, the question isn't, did they get that raid house? You know what I'm saying? Did they get the right house? The real question is, how many other stash spots and how many other houses are they moving work out of? Because if you catch one, then that means that they probably got at least 20 more. And if they know that you coming with the Raven, and that means that they're going to probably shut down all of the rest of the stash houses and move the product to different places because they think that they got, you know what I'm saying, everything is messed up. And it's the same thing with this. If you caught them going in this one place, or they caught them on the news, because people watch the news the same way that I would watch the news. If you catch them in this place, how many other manholes or how many other places have they been to and been under that we should be suspicious about? Bro, I would not be surprised if 2 or 3 months from now, or even a few weeks from now, something come about where it's like, man, they should have been more vigilant about what's going on inside of New York City. Especially with what we've seen happening with 9/11. Oh, now we're getting deep, right? Because it was a lot of time, it was a lot of stuff that came out later was like, yeah, I seen this, and yeah, I seen this, and yeah, I just ignored it and it wasn't a big deal. I don't take anything lightly. I don't take anything lightly anymore, especially in a major city like New York. I don't take none of that stuff lightly and be like, oh man, it's just a simulation. Oh, they was just messing around. Probably was just a YouTube video. No, man, these dudes is coming through. They looking professional. They moving fast. They know exactly what manhole to go into. No, nope. I think that they should 100% be taking this as serious as possible and be vigilant about finding out who these guys are, what they doing, and what the purpose of them is as far as going inside of these manholes. After 9/11, I don't take nothing lightly. After 9/11, I don't take anything lightly. I take everything serious.
Because
if I see a dude walking around my building, and I don't know you, real talk, if I see people in the parking lot, I don't just automatically assume, oh, that's a DoorDash driver. I don't. I'll go get the UWAP. Let me tell you something, bro. Every minute, and I got security in the building and everything like that. Every minute, every minute, every second, every hour. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. "24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm on it 100% of the time. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus 1 in there for you to be able to figure it out for yourself. I'm not about to sit there and play no games with people. I take everything serious. Everything. I take every single thing serious. Real talk. I'm not about to play no games. I look at people in the parking lot. I be looking at my security cameras up there. I look at my security cameras up there. Gotta put these back in here. I'm not about to keep playing no games with these people, bro. And so I look at everything as a threat until it's not. The same way I look at women and I say, oh, she must be for the streets, until she proved to me she not. She must be for the streets unless she proved to me that she not. We got to stop playing games with people. We got to stop playing so many games with people. What do y'all carry? Y'all not allowed to carry on state? Nah. I see a 9 milli, Glock 19, 9 millimeter. I keep a 4. I like a 45. I like a 4.5 all day long. And I know I can't show none of my stuff on this. I don't know how YouTube feel about it. I don't know how YouTube feel about it, but you know, real talk. I think that they need to be a lot more vigilant, and they need to be on top of that stuff, because I don't want to hear nothing about another fake terrorist attack. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. You don't carry. Listen, I respect people that don't carry. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that YouTube hate guns. And so I'm not interested in talking about it. You know what it is. You know what it is. I'm not playing no games with these people. Put you on a t-shirt. Wet t-shirt contest. I don't give no name. I just call it the ooh-wop shebang. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. It's a lot of gun content creators. Oh, yeah, but they get censored. They don't make as much money in the algorithm sometimes, depending on the type of content that they put out. It'd be restrictions. You got to then select certain things on YouTube. Nah, it's just easy. It's easier to be able to chill out. In slow motion. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. They might be planting something under the city. They may be running some kind of simulation, Wesley Turner. Says they might be setting up for a heist. They could be. Lance says they be planting explosives. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it even a little bit, bro. High Tolerance says, good morning, big dog in the bag, chasers in the clouds, but skip down to Long Island and see what Becky did to her guy friend in his basement. Send it to me. HT. Pop says, sleeper cells, bro. These fools need to be dealt with. People out here naive and too trusting. I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them at all. What else we got going on in the streets? Let me see. Y'all see why we need a 4-hour show now? Steph Curry. Oh, no. I want to talk about this one before we can stable that for tomorrow. We're going to go to CNN for a minute.
Are challenging the Hollywood establishment and proving that young creators with passion can beat the studios at their own game. CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter has more on how YouTube is responsible for producing the next top filmmakers.
Yes, the YouTube revolution has officially come for Hollywood. It was a historic weekend at the box office, with the top 2 movies in America being Backrooms and Obsession. Both of these are horror movies made by 20-something directors who honed their craft on YouTube. Both were able to use relatively small amounts of money to make their movies and then market them inexpensively online to their existing fan bases. And this formula worked astonishingly well. all of Hollywood now buzzing about how these two movies broke out and what it might mean for the future of the movie business. Now, Obsession came out first. It came out on May 15th. It's directed by 26-year-old Curry Barker. It cost less than $1 million to produce. And so far, it's made $150 million, not just in the U.S., but around the world.
We in the wrong business here, Car. Not in the wrong business, but we not leveraging the business like we supposed to. It costs under $1 million, and they made over $100+ million at the box office, half of which you get to keep. It goes back to you.
That is a jaw-dropping return on investment. Something like that almost never happens in the movie business. Then this past weekend came Backrooms, directed by 20-year-old Kane Parsons. He developed the Backrooms project for years on his YouTube channel. He had millions of fans online doing that. He was able to win the backing of some independent movie studios. So he had about $10 million to make the movie. And still, it absolutely crushed expectations. It ranked #1 in its opening weekend in the US and in other markets, raking in about $120 million worldwide, with ticket sales driven by Gen Z.
But we've got an example of creators woodshedding things, putting them online, building an audience, and now the people with the purse strings are going to notice probably a little bit sooner because they.
Let me tell y'all something, and I've been saying this since the beginning of time. That YouTube is where it's at. Everybody keep on trying to finesse it. Keep trying to cheat the game. You think that you can go to TikTok, and I'm not saying that TikTok is not relevant because I'm gonna take over there too. And people keep doing all of these other things, but I'm telling you, if you're able to master long form content and be able to build an audience, a core group of people, and then go from there, you are one. They worship us. We are the kings. We're the kings. Everybody want to be like us. Former basketball players, actors. We got all of the core audience. We got all of the money. The people that actually is on themselves. The people that know how to monetize the platforms successfully. That's why I want to take over the next 2 to 3 years. I want to literally take over everything, bro. We are the ones that control culture. We determine what happens at the box office. We determine what happens in political circles. We determine what happens in your own city. We are the ones that determine what happens in the entire world. We are the culture. We have all the power. We don't even realize who we are yet, but that's why we keep selling out. That's why, because we'll take a couple dollars. We taking pennies, man. When I'm looking at this whole thing, I'm looking at this thing from the long view, 10 years out. We take pennies and sell out our platforms and give it away for nothing or don't leverage it effectively. And we so quick to try to sign a deal, so quick to try. Listen, if you're making decent money, and this is my advice to people that are successful as content creators, to all of my fellow content creators out there, if you are making decent money, chill. Stop trying to figure out how you can finesse it into signing a bigger deal and then disconnect yourself from the platform. You are the platform. You are the talent. You the one that built this from scratch. Why would you sell it for a couple $1 million, for a few $1 million? Why would you take a few $1 million if you making a decent amount of money to where you can sustain yourself, be able to invest in yourself, and continue to build your audience organically? Then why wouldn't you continue to do that? Why you so busy trying to take a couple dollars because you think you can skirt the process instead of taking a long way? You already been building it. Why you gonna let somebody? The easiest way for me to capitalize off of something is to be able to say, hey man, I see what you're doing over there. Let me buy your stuff. And we gon', you know what I'm saying? I'ma own it. I'ma just let you work for it. Man, I'ma pay you a salary. You know what that do? That gives me all of the power, all of the control, and then I'm able to control the assets. What a lot of these content creators that's built it from scratch don't understand The ones that really got motion in real life, not under these, not the clout chasers, but the ones, excuse me, the ones that got motion, they don't realize that they are the asset. Do you know that when you're evaluating your net worth, that your business, whatever you generate a lot of revenue at, is also considered a part of your asset? You are your platforms are the asset. How do you value your platforms? Because some of y'all are so quick to take a check. Now, these smart ones are able to take it, because this is a part that we're not going to talk about in the community, right? In the community, we're not going to talk about that because we're so busy infighting and trying to compete for each other for a small piece of the pie. These people is over there making $10 and $10 million films. They making $1 to $10 million films and probably gonna get a $300 to $400 million return on it. Why would you sell out when it's really just a matter of time for you to figure out how to leverage your platform to make the biggest return possible? Don't sell your stuff. No, sell your stuff. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it because some of y'all are desperate. Some of y'all are, they're gonna put you behind. They're gonna tell you, oh no, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, so on and so forth. You take the smallest deal because you feel like you got to get the biggest, you got to hurry up and cash while it's hot. Real talk. Real talk. I go into the, you know, when I realize that I have motion is when I go out into the street, and it don't matter where I go. I can go to the corner store. I can go to a baseball game. I can go to a basketball game. I can go to the casino. I can go to the gas station, and there's nowhere. I went to the gas station, and the people that worked at the biggest news station was like, oh man, we watch all your stuff. It's happy to meet you. When I jump on the court, when I go to the basketball games, and you got people from the opposite team coming up to you and saying, hey fam, what's up, man? I love your stuff, man. Hey, stick around. Hey, can you hold on after the game, man? I want to talk to you about something. I got some financial stuff that I need to talk to you about. That's when I realized, like, wait a minute. We got motion out here. We got motion. Why would I trade what I got going on for pennies? They're proving to you right now. The content creators are the ones that's able to leverage their audience to make moves. Why would you trade that in? You the motion. You're the asset. You're the asset.
See what they can do at the box office, you know, in the form of these two films that are overperforming.
Group chat is back. We've got the right folks to talk about this. Let me show you this box office from over the weekend. As we mentioned, Backrooms and Obsession, two horror films that started.
These people right here, they workers. And there ain't nothing wrong with being workers. But at any point, they could be fired and kicked off the platform. What was my name? What was baby girl name that wound up going over to that platform? That the native land pod, Tiffany Cross. Remember when she started a platform? Or remember when she got kicked off? And now they ain't got no motion because they didn't build their following. They just took the job. And that's cool for some people, but it's not cool for all of us. Let me see something. What is her name? God, I forgot her name. What's the blackity black chick that got fired from MSNBC? The African chick that got the short hair. What's her name? Anybody remember her name? I forgot what her name was. Joy Reid. Joy Reid. Shout out to the chat. Joy Reid. She trying to build her platform. She's trying to build up her platform. She's trying to get it popping. Now, I don't know what kind of motion she got. 5,000 views in 4 days, 3,000 views, 3.7 thousand views, 2.4 thousand views, 6,000 views, 4,000 views in 7 days. Well, maybe this is not a good example. Look how bad this cover photo is. Tea time with Lev and Joy. Yeah, this is a bad example. But the point that I'm trying to make is the point that I'm trying to make is that when you got motion, you don't have to beg nobody for nothing. You the one that determine what happens. So we get more views than that on nothing. Let me be quiet.
Out as YouTube phenomena, but I want to show you the number 3 film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I think by definition.
Wait a minute. So they beat the crap out of The Mandalorian? Wow. They beat Star Wars. Backrooms and Obsession in the United States of America beat Star Wars? Yeah. We need to start figuring this out. There actually needs to be more of a coalition amongst content creators. Is everybody just running around being random and stupid? There needs to be a coalition amongst content creators to kind of come together and kind of move like a family. And y'all don't have to all be on the same team, but y'all need to come together like mob bosses. Real talk. That's what the real play would be. That's what the real play would be. If you had content creators, if you had certain content creators that was in the spaces that came together like the mob and they met once every quarter or something like that, and then they was figuring out how they was going to move and how they was going to capitalize and how they was going to sway, and instead of them, hey, listen, this is the deal that's on the table. Okay, so how can we leverage that or whatever and try to figure out how they can add value into each other? That would be dope. I don't think that it could. Personally, I don't think that it can happen, because the one thing that we know is that people in the culture, they never have been able to work together in any capacity. I'm not talking about a union. I'm talking about people that network to have discussions on how they can leverage their power to be able to do other things. A union is looking for protection from the companies that they work for. To have more of a meeting of the minds doesn't mean that y'all all on the same page. It don't even mean that y'all like each other. It means that y'all moving like the mob. It's like a mastermind group, and it means that you're moving like a mob. Hey, listen. That's what the record companies do. The record companies be competing against each other for years. But guess what? The record companies work together in order to quell Napster and online streaming. They work together in order to corner these streaming companies in order to partner with them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they're able to come together. That's the most fearful thing ever. Is the industry don't want people, they want to divide y'all, and that's why they keep buying up y'all platforms. And so you remain independent with your power, but you come together and mastermind how to control what goes on inside of the industry. What do you think that the political process is? What do you think that the Democrat and the Republican Party is? Why do you think that they continue to push out these smaller movements, and they may even adopt some of their perspectives? But what do you think that these political processes are? You don't think that Democrats and Republicans are working together in order to make sure that they control the market? You don't think that Ford, Chrysler, and GM had worked together to make sure that we didn't have public transportation and that we only had to have limits for how thick the concrete could be so that they could continue to have to sell vehicles and to prevent you from being able to have that in certain cities? You don't think that there's people that are working in industries together that may not even necessarily be on the same team, but they see where it benefits them to align with somebody on specific issues? No, I'm not telling you that. Y'all so dumb, so stupid. I'm not saying that content creators need to come together. I said that they need to have a mastermind. Do you know what the difference is? You know what? Never mind. Let's just go ahead and keep reacting to the video.
Helps us understand, meaning IP fatigue.
A lot of IP fatigue. You've seen in the past 5 years, Audie, action and adventure films have skyrocketed at the box office because Hollywood studios know that there's a known return. Even if the margin isn't huge, because remember, these movies cost a ton to produce, there's a good understanding of what the return on investment is going to be. It also helps to fuel their entire sort of ecosystem of fandom, right? Because, you got to have people showing up in theme parks. You got to sell goods. Those baby Yodas don't sell themselves, Audie.
I thought they did. That was the whole
put that in
point.
theaters.
The other thing I was thinking about, though, is studio consolidation. At this point, it might actually be easier to make your film on YouTube first and get some interest for distribution. Looking just 10 years ago, 20th Century going under DreamWorks, under Universal, MGM to Amazon, of course, pending WB to Paramount. And I didn't even have room to fit all the boutique studios that used to exist, whether it was your Merchant Ivories or your Miramaxes or all these things that there were just more places to bring your stuff. I can see why any filmmaker would just make it on their own.
I mean, I think we're seeing the rise of DIY and do it at home and do it yourself across the board. And it's because the cost of things is so incredibly.
Kay Cooper, that's not true. You said it's sad that these actors only made like 12,000 and the movie will make millions. Not on the back end. And that's why you do your deal to where it'll be budget friendly for you to make the, and see, this is why we need a mastermind, because you can trade ideas, right? And so, for example, you can say, hey, listen, how much will it take for me to be able to give you some money to sustain you? But I still need to reserve a lot of this money to make the movie. But then you catch it on the back end. You want to catch the back end money. That's how you generate the revenue. And they get really rich and they make way more than getting the front end money, right? So if they do the deal and say, well, listen, I'll take, and you allocate, hey, listen, okay, 30% of the profit we're going to give to the actors, and we just going to give them, and this is how CEOs move. CEOs don't get all of their money on the upfront money. They get all of their money on the stock options and the back end on the performance of the company. And so the way that you negotiate the deal with the people is say, hey, listen, I want to be profitable with you, but I want you to have equity in this film. And so in order for me to make it, I want you to give your all, and I want to work with an A-list actor, but I think we're going to make $300 million on the back end, and we going to get paid from this forever. And we going to have licensing, and we can do merch, and we can do a part 2, and we can do this, and we can do this. Don't think so small-minded, think bigger. So if I give you $50,000 or $100,000 in order to do this, shoot this film for me, where you used to getting $1 million, $2 million, but then you make, 50, 60 million on the back end, that's a good deal for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't rock with that if you got the motion? We think small, man. We think so
expensive
small.
to attend any kind of live event or any kind of entertainment. So if you're going to go and spend those dollars, you want to support somebody that maybe you can follow and see extra content from them online for free.
Yeah, but also you're my insurgent.
I know.
You're my backroom, right? Like you're doing under
That's
the
very
desk
true.
news.
Yeah.
I think you said there's like a YouTube conference going on right now.
There is. So this is really cool. This is our White House Correspondents' Week.
Oh,
it's trending up here in
okay.
DC. Shout out trending up. So you've got all of your favorite news and political content creators here in DC doing what you guys usually do during the White
without
House
the overhead,
without the
insurance,
overhead
and panicked boxes.
All the same drama, though. I assure you.
Oh,
all
really?
The same. Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's the fun part about being in person. But the thing that I think folks are looking for, and with these movies like Obsession and Backroom, is this return to genuine creativity and.
No, they believe in the people that are making the films. That's what it is. Listen, stop letting this woman that dressed like a man on this platform of CNN that don't know nothing about content creation and building an audience tell you about how you need to be moving. That's not what it is. They believe in the people that are building the film, and then they market it through their own audience, and that's what gives it legs, and then it gives interest to other people that didn't know nothing about it to want to go and see it themselves. That's what happens. People don't know nothing. They just on these platforms talking. Just talking. Just talking. Anyways, let me read some of these super chats. Steel City Muscle says, check out the Springfield XDM Sub Compact 45. Y'all want me to be a gun collector, huh? High Tolerance says, check your email. Bet. Another YouTuber made Obsession much better film than Backrooms, but Backrooms has a higher ceiling for their universe. Classy B says they late on this news. A revolution started a long time ago, but took a jump when newscasters and sports commentators started coming on YouTube on their own platforms, but a lot of them failed because they can't do it on their own and they need that system. H2 Cole says, shout out to Classy Beast. H2 Cole says, what happened to the movie script you were working on? I'm not done. I'm doing what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't time for that yet. Casual Germ says, modern day Star Wars movies are better off as standalone films like Rogue One, the animated and real-time series where they truly shine. Yeah. Hey. All right, y'all. I got to get back to work. I got to get back to business. What day is it? It's Wednesday? Got Relationship Wednesdays. Relationship Wednesdays on After Hours. We here. And we going to get to it and we going to run up a bag. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all tonight. I need to preserve my voice. It's like my voice is starting to go out because I'll be doing too much yelling. I love y'all. I'll holler at y'all in a minute. Peace.